Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material in use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
La vivienda es muy cara para nosotros los jóvenes.
Mi casa no es tu casa, mi casa no es tu casa.
He notado muchísimo el despojo, el desplazamiento, el aumento de los precios.
Llevo 6 departamentos en 6 años. En uno de los últimos fue que me subieron la renta más del 10% fuera de lo legal.
Nos están desplazando para darle lugar a aquellos que tienen más ingresos.
Ni siquiera hay modo de protestar contra eso porque pues, al final de cuentas no es legal.
Al turista le gusta México, más no los mexicanos. La gentrificación desplazando a nuestros paisanos hacia la orilla, hacia lo más gacho, la periferia. Su única consigna el no ganar bastante feria. Las casas frente al mar siempre la renta un extranjero. Sencillo, él gana en dólares y es más dinero. Si vas al mar y necesitas un taxista, aunque seas de México te cobran como turista. Gente con más recursos y ganando en dolaritos se ríen de la situación y los que ganan en pesitos. Salario mínimo general 280 pesos, multiplícalo por los 30 días que tiene un mes. Son 8,400 pesos, te diste cuenta, solo en Ciudad de México 20,000 está una renta. Y las familias pobres se tienen que desplazar mientras lleguen turistas que ellos sí lo puedan pagar. Eso es la gentrificación, el alto costo, el alto precio. No les importa si eres paisa, igual se te van recio. El problema no es el abuso ni el arrendatario, el problema es que está por el suelo el ingreso diario. Y las rentas por las nubes, por las nubes, por las nubes. No vivirás en Polanco ni aunque la cola le sudes. Necesitamos el turismo, eso no lo alegamos, pero queremos un México para los mexicanos. Una vivienda digna, un bistec de vez en cuando. Por la gentrificación ya ni pa'l huevo anda alcanzando. Esta protesta no cambió la vida al parecer, pero sirvió para que nosotros podamos ver que el turista puede vivir en zonas privilegiadas. Seguridad las 24 horas en casas privadas, las mejores vistas desde el cuarto de un hotel, viendo la población, sintiendo el sol en su piel, viajando en su Mercedes, llegando pronto al destino, vistiendo lo mejor y comiendo de lo más fino, mientras que el desplazado su techo tiene goteras y la inseguridad la anda viviendo día de veras, vistiendo lo que puede, estando a mero abajo, echándose 5 horas en transporte para el trabajo. Es la desigualdad, es el capitalismo, que un ser humano no se ha visto como otro mismo. Y las rentas por las nubes, por las nubes, por las nubes. No vivirás en Polanco ni aunque la cola le sudes. Necesitamos el turismo, eso no lo alegamos, pero queremos un México para los mexicanos. Y las rentas por las nubes, por las nubes, por las nubes. No vivirás en Polanco ni aunque la cola le sudes. Necesitamos el turismo, eso no lo alegamos, pero queremos un México para los mexicanos.
Saludos al compa Raúl David, al compa Tadeo Guillén, al Joker, y Santa, Inés y al compa Brandy. Acá somos puro Team Mexa.
del mar los vieron llegar. Mis hermanos emplumados serán los hombres barbados de la profecía esperada. Se oyó la voz del monarca de que el Dios había llegado y les abrimos la puerta por temor a lo ignorado. Iban montados en bestias como demonios del mal, iban con fuego en las manos y cubiertos de metal. Solo el valor de unos cuantos les opuso resistencia, y al mirar correr la sangre se llenaron de vergüenza, porque los dioses ni comen ni gozan con lo robado. Y cuando nos dimos cuenta, ya todo estaba acabado, y en ese error entregamos la grandeza del pasado, y en ese error nos quedamos 300 años esclavos. Se nos quedó el maleficio de brindar al extranjero nuestra fe, nuestra cultura, nuestro pan, nuestro dinero, y le seguimos cambiando oro por cuentas de vidrio, y damos nuestras riquezas por sus espejos con brillo. Hoy, en pleno siglo XX, nos siguen llegando rubios y les abrimos la casa y los llamamos amigos. Pero si llega cansado un indio de andar la sierra, lo humillamos y lo vemos como extraño por su tierra. Hipócrita que te muestras humilde ante el extranjero, pero te vuelves soberbio con tus hermanos del pueblo. Oh, maldición de Malinche, enfermedad del presente, ¿cuándo dejarás mi tierra? ¿Cuándo harás libre a mi gente?
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Shalom, people. Hope y'all doing well. I'm actually doing this here at the home front. I'm gonna get this done real quick. I had to, hold on a second. Let me switch this, man. What's going on here? My bad, family. I had to do this today from here because I had a lot of work today, so I got tired, man. I had to come home to sleep. Anyways, excuse me. There's this topic, man, that I talked about yesterday, and YouTube blocked me. They took me off before I was even able to show the class. So what I'm gonna do, I try to show it on this other channel, but I went a little too long, so I'm gonna go to the point because I got some updated info, which is pretty ironic, man, to say the least, about this Vivek Salami. He's a hot topic right now. Anyhow, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys a particular part where it starts off, because the topic gets pretty interesting at this point. And it'll be about an hour. And like I said, I got some more video to show. So stick around. Shalom to everybody here. Saludos. Buenas noches a todos. It's Brother Joshua. All right. Again, I'm kind of new for doing this from home, so it's not like my usual space. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a little getting used to. Anyhow, let's begin.
Mexican Americans were considered to be taking jobs and using public resources that should go towards white Americans during the Great Depression. So the police rounded up anyone who looked Mexican, put them on trains, and sent them to Mexico. This is not an exaggeration. There was no legal due process involved, and these were American-born citizens with full documentation. But under President Hoover's American Jobs Program, which sponsored this deportation, they clearly weren't real Americans. Companies like Ford laid off thousands of Mexican Americans, and hospitals would rip Mexican American patients out of their hospital beds and deport them from the country. Even after the Great Depression ended, what's absurd is I feel like this was a significant tragic event in US history. But I was never taught this in US history. It is said that during the Mexican repatriation program, which ran from 1929 to 1936, the US forcibly removed an estimated 2 million people of Mexican heritage from the United States. Mexican Americans were considered to be
Let him go. You get your hands off of him. Hey. Let go.
Get out. Coming into a private business like this? Get out. You're touching the federal agent. I'm not.
You are not a federal agent to begin with.
I'm not touching you.
Identify yourself. Let him go.
Now, during the McCarthyite atmosphere of the 1950s, of which I'll be covering in depth, it was also known as the Second Red Scare, the federal government will force agribusiness to adopt the Bracero program permanently by eliminating their reliance on undocumented workers through a military program entitled Operation Wetback. Yes, Operation Wetback. So this is kind of share with you the mindset of the larger society and what that historian Francisco Valderrama was talking about in terms of Mexicans. And the idea in the national American character and the American psyche is that Mexicans somehow are not part of the American experience. This violation of human rights was designed to break up unionization efforts in the fields, deport those with or without documents, and import braceros as strikebreakers. And it forced growers to hire braceros, not undocumented workers. So let's visit the operation. Or let's revisit it.
On June 17, 1954, 2,000 undocumented Mexican workers were deported across the United States-Mexican border at the beginning of the most aggressive Mexican deportation program up until that time. Official records state that over the course of the next several months, approximately 1.3 million Mexicans either voluntarily left the United States or were forcibly deported. These mass deportations made up the 1954 campaign known as Operation Wetback. This is its story. By the 1950s, the United States public and government had grown worried about the increasing numbers of apprehensions of undocumented Mexicans, or wetbacks. The derogatory term wetback comes from the perception that many undocumented workers swam or waded across the Rio Grande to reach the United States. Popular media cited undocumented workers as responsible for increased disease and crime rates, narcotics, security threats, and soaring welfare costs. President Eisenhower was similarly concerned. In 1954, President Eisenhower appointed General Joseph Swing as head of the Immigration and Naturalization Services, or the INS, in hopes that Swing could resolve the immigration problem. Under Swing's command, the INS and the Border Patrol saw the benefit of a large-scale deportation campaign to relieve this anxiety regarding undocumented workers. This led to the creation of Operation Wetback in the summer of 1954. The 1954 Operation Wetback was actually not the first of its kind. The initial Operation Wetback model was conceived in 1950. In this model, undocumented workers are not only pursued in transit across the border, but also while living and working in the United States. The 1954 operation simply used this methodology on a greater scale. On June 17, 1954, Operation Wetback began in California. The operation's commencement involved approximately 750 Immigration and Border Patrol officers and investigators, 300 jeeps, cars, and buses, and 7 airplanes. Mobile task forces conducted raids in Mexican-American barrios and through traffic stops. These task forces checked cars for undocumented Mexicans. Planes marshaled from Florida, Texas, and California also scoured farms and open country. Workers found to be undocumented were forced onto buses and sent back to Mexico. Soon, the raids spread to Arizona and Texas. The main raids occurred during the summer of 1954 in the agricultural areas of California, Arizona, and Texas, but Operation Wetback also involved lesser raids on cities such as Kansas City, Chicago, and Memphis. Officially, approximately 1.3 million Mexicans either voluntarily left the United States immediately before the operation or were forcibly deported during the operation. Operation Wetback also relied heavily on newspaper propaganda to garner support for its cause. Media coverage had been arranged so as to generate favorable publicity for the Border Patrol on both the local and national level. As undocumented immigrants were rounded up, forced into buses, and deported across the border, the press took photos of officers apprehending dozens and hundreds of undocumented Mexican nationals at a time. The press's involvement created a constant buzz in the headlines of regional and national newspapers throughout June of 1954. In addition to the mass publicity surrounding the campaign, several historians have suggested that the number of apprehended undocumented workers during Operation Wetback was, in fact, greatly exaggerated. Regardless of the accuracy of the numbers, however, Operation Wetback was perceived as a successful campaign at its time.
It's important to take notice about what you said, sis. My dad, good to have you here, by the way. Hold on. Let me say good to have you all here, man. Thank you for being here. This is a repetitive thing. We saw it in 100 years ago. We saw it in 1917 with the fumigation baths. We saw it in the Wetback Operation, the Repatriation Act. We saw it. I mean, we're seeing it even in the 80s. We saw it in the 90s. If you guys don't know, it was not as severe, but it happened all the time. You saw Border Patrol driving everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And then now, not only do we have it, but it's the same hateful, fucking horrible spirit of Esau and his nasty ass wicked children who don't like to wipe their asses and shit. You know, they leave crap in the sheets. Hey, listen, I'm being real. Look it up. Specifically, the men, the sons of Esau, do not like to shower, and they leave the sheets with shit. I'm not making it up. Look it up. So these same people wanted us to think that we are the real savages, yet we are getting treated in a savage way. Not that we're savages. the savages are treating us in a savage way, because the only way that you can treat somebody so savagely is because you're a fucking savage. There's no other way to put it. For you to be treating someone like a savage, or savagely, you have to be able to do that. Meaning you have to have that spirit. And alligator Alcatraz, what else? Your internment camps, your private prisons owned and traded in the stock exchange, and the only reason you put our people in those jails and cages is because it profits your pocket. And that's savagery right there. We're not the savages. Never were we the savages. 1609, you guys were basically starving to death. You were too lazy to work, and you were eating each other, digging up your horses. Matter of fact, eating your horses and your dogs, and you were digging up the old people to eat them. Talk about savagery. But see, this is a history that they don't like to talk about. So once again, when all these damn commentators like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump is doing that. Did you not fucking hear him say that he was going to do a mass deportation like Eisenhower, like never before? Did that not ring a bell? Or did you guys really believe that the 10 million supposedly people with no documentations here are really all criminals, meaning like aggressive criminals? Seriously, man, there wouldn't be no country with 10 million people being on the loose like that. Yeah, that's how stupid you guys are.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
So my job is to make sure that we point out the facts. This is not a feeling channel. This is not a channel about your feelings, and you're going to get hurt in this channel. If you follow this channel, you sign up, and I'll praise this man to the Most High for doing that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're going to be offended by me. You will be offended by me, not directly, but by what I provide and read. Because in this channel, it's not about feelings. These are facts, and a lot of you are not adults. You want entertainment. This is not an entertainment channel. This is not an entertainment channel. This is an informative, aggressive, I don't give a fuck channel. So again, be mindful what you're subscribing to. Let's go.
Overall, the press releases of Operation Wetback helped persuade government officials, the general public, and agribusiness interests to recognize the Border Patrol and INS as an important sector of the government. While the 1954 Operation Wetback did not curb illegal immigration forever, at the time it was seen as an effective measure to rid the United States of its so-called wetback problem.
So we can see through this particular cycle of how the U.S. federal government supports both corporate and business needs for inexpensive workers and profits. And again, since its inception,
if you think about this, family, they profit from my gente that are not documented here from them filing taxes, because there is such thing as a TIN number, okay? Like a TIN number, you know what I'm saying? There is such a thing as a TIN number. That TIN number is being used by people that are not technically documented here, but that want to work. So, they obviously file taxes because one day they hope too that you'll be able to provide them with the approval of having to be here. A lot of them really are about that. But a lot of you guys, you're so hateful, you don't even realize that this is what they do. Let me show you a little bit. I'm gonna jump back and forth because this is an old video here, and YouTube, like I said earlier, had taken down they took down the live. I don't remember why, and the remaining portion I kept. I can't remember what it was. All I'm trying to do is show you a video from 2 years ago, I believe, that had about the less views of all the videos I've made. So I'm like, that shit got into like the dungeon. I wonder why nobody paid attention to that one, because it had basically talked about this. So I'm going to share, information from 2 years ago, and then I'm going to share information from right now, and you're going to trip out on this. It is so similar. Nothing has officially changed. And this is why I stress to you, brothers and sisters, man, like, where is your change? Are you guys like for example, there's 10 people here, right? Now there's only 5. Not that it really matters. It goes up and down. That's how YouTube is, right? But I find it so funny that the importance of what pertains to our gente, a lot of our people don't fucking care. A lot of you guys walk around with, it never happened. That's not true. No, that's not true. It never happened. No, I don't believe it. I have them in my own family. And I don't mean like blood family. Related to my wife. Like one particular individual, he's like, nah, that's not happening. Well, we married a white girl. Of course he's going to say that. You know what I'm saying? So now, for all of you guys that don't understand exactly what's going on with our people are hardworking, honest, sincere men and women. Now, are they some wicked ones in the way? Yes, damn right there is, just like everybody else. But you cannot assume. I mean, we are the hardest working people in the entire world. Nobody can deny that shit. Whether it's through studying or working, those are just facts. What has been lacking was spirit, the power that I'm trying to bring back to you guys. But some of y'all are offended by what I'm trying to give you. So let's listen in real quick. Listen what this guy says. Very interesting, man. Great way to express what he's done. He's not a criminal. Check it.
Con mis taxis. Tengo 19 años haciendo taxis. Sin derechos. Mire, ¿y saben por qué los he hecho año con año? Con la promesa de que nos van a dar un camino a la ciudadanía, con la promesa de una legalización. Este es mi testimonio de que yo no soy ni un criminal. Miren, no somos criminales. Yo conozco cientos de personas, yo conozco muchas personas que hacen sus impuestos, que tienen bienes, que no tienen documentos. Durante la pandemia, yo no paré ni un solo día. No recuerdo, Xochitl, que hayamos parado ni un solo día. Nosotros salimos a trabajar mientras todas las personas estaban recibiendo un cheque semanal. Yo desde que...
You see that, you ungrateful bastards? Fucking ungrateful piece of shits, man. You Edomites, especially you right now. I'm talking about you, sons of Esau and daughters and shit. You are so ungrateful bastards. You guys had nothing. You were so scared. You were locked up in your rooms. You were, oh my God, you were putting face masks on. You were, dude, I'm telling you, I were going around with fucking plastic bags around you. And our gente didn't stop. The only reason the economy fucking functioned was because of these people in secret that work in so-called darkness, in the kitchens, doing the trim work, maintaining the buildings, keeping the places clean, working the graveyard shifts when it comes to driving or whatever it may be, working on the buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like all of you guys, you ungrateful sons of fucking bitches. I'm seriously right now. So when you complain about the stuff that's either occurring today or going to be occurring more continuously, don't sit around here and cry about it. Never bite the hand that feeds you. Because this is serious stuff right here, man. And particularly me, maybe because I was born in Mexico and I migrated here when I was a very young age, but I still went back and forth. There you go, essential. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. The essential workers, bro. And there's a particular meaning for that behind that. Esencial. It is esencial. That means you're sensational. That's the root word of it. Essential, esencial, sensation. I mean, it's all relative. But you know what? They call it essential is because of what? Not as what you think is more important. You guys focus on the movies, the actors, and the so-called billionaires, the ones that are fucking over here on YouTube claiming all this shit. But the ones that really matter the most are these people here. It's like if you work in a building and you don't know the maintenance guy, but because of this maintenance guy, the building functions like no tomorrow. And then when he dies, all of a sudden, shit starts messing up. Like, what's going on, man? Like, why is this plumbing done? What's going on with this? What is that? Yo, so-and-so, bro, was on it. You never had to ask him for anything. He just knew what to do, bro. So it's like when you don't have that essential piece of the functionality, then guess what? You will definitely feel the pain. And I'm telling you right now, you bit the hand that fucking fed you, you ungrateful bastards. So what is coming to you, I don't care. I don't have pity for you, nor do I pray for you. Because the scriptures even say it themselves. Don't pray for them. Don't pray for no sinners. They will never get the blessing. Do you guys understand that? You're praying for sinners. They're never going to get the blessing. So it's a waste of time. Let's go.
que llegué nunca he sabido lo que es un desempleo. Nunca los trabajadores del campo, señores, no tenemos días feriados. Trabajamos Navidad, trabajamos Thanksgiving, trabajamos 4 de lo que sea. En el campo no hay nada de día festivo. Ahí no hay días festivos. Y yo sé el valor que tenemos. Yo sé el valor que yo tengo como...
Now I'm going to put the translation on the screen for you guys in English, but...
And he's correct. They didn't have no days off. They had no, they had to work. So now, you think
everyone is welcome.
You think this is a joke. You think, and you guys all making videos like, fuck around and find out. Like, you guys that are making these videos, FO and find out stuff, you think it's not going to affect you. I mean, you're going to feel it too, dumbasses. So it's really like ignorant. I don't even know if it's ignorance or stupidity that you don't see your ship sinking and you're making fun of the people that are that are actually sailing the ship. You're like, look at him making mistakes, but you're riding the ship that they're making mistakes on, you dumbasses. Where the fuck are y'all gonna go? You ain't going down to Mexico. That's for damn sure. Not after all this experience of 50 years almost of seeing the hate. 40 years, let's just put it that way. 40 years of experiencing hate. Constant reminder from when I was 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, and now 40, and now close to 50. It hasn't changed. Hate, 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 hate. Hate. Dante, if you got any scriptures while I play this video, shoot it, all right? Because once I start the other one, I'm going to let it play. Just letting y'all know right now. I'm going about another 10 minutes of like little videos. Maybe another 5. So if you got any, just go ahead and post it so I can read it before I start the other video. All right, let's go.
When we chose the wrong direction.
Wanted. This isn't what I voted for.
This is the consequences. When we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes.
Look at those
tomatoes. It is what it is.
Wow.
Make American great. Yeah, low prices.
Now, I'm not a farm expert. I'm not a...
You think that this isn't going to affect you guys? You think it's like it's not going to? The essential. Matter of fact, let me look up the word. Let's look up the word. Essential. Meaning. Okay, and you want to know something, family? I think you guys should understand now that ya es tiempo, cabrones, that you raise the fucking bar. Straight up. You raise the bar of yourself. Because if you believe in this book and if you understand what I've been teaching, matter of fact, I don't even need the scriptures to teach you guys that you guys are the Hebrews. That's how sick it is. And I mean sick in a good way. I don't even need the curses to show you that you guys are the Hebrews of the Bible. I don't. I've showed it in many classes, the land of Ophir, Azareth, the food, the clothing, the language, the folklore. Shit, man. I mean, like a lot more. Okay. I can't think of them all right now. But one thing that I do want to tell you, and why I'm mentioning all this, is because of the beauty and the history that you guys have earned. You earned it a long time ago through the promise, the covenant, okay? Now it's your time to grab that shit back and make it yours. Without doubt, without hesitation, there's going to be people around you. They're going to say, no, that's not true. Like sometimes I get random ass damn Canaanites, and even Edomites, but the Canaanites be the ones that are mostly boastful and hateful because apparently they just cannot fathom the idea that we are those people. Then they bring up Africa. Well, let me remind you, Abraham is not in Africa, and Abraham never went to Africa. So I don't give a shit what you guys say. And Abraham was no European. Do you get what I'm saying? So let's just be mindful here. Time to grab that heritage back, man. Time to get it back. And what I mean by raising the standards is be smart about what you're reading. For example, why am I looking up the word essential? I know it might not mean much to you guys, but I'm telling you right now, if you start practicing these habits, when you read something, for example, you read the book, you look up the word, look up its definition. Make sure you know what it means. Read it to yourself a few times. Make sure you understand the meaning of the word. Because then people can't fool you, gente. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's why I keep telling you, man, raise the fucking standard. And all of you other all of you other, idiots, I'm gonna call you guys that right now, that have these channels and shit, and you think you know a lot and whatever. I'm gonna remind you, gente, make sure that you find out how the people's household is. Do they have a good home? Do their kids respect them? Or do they hate them? Does their wife or wives respect them or hate them? What is the surrounding? And then if they claim to be Hebrews and they're talking about our book, are they keeping the laws? Or are they still in certain environments or businesses that they know they're breaking commandments, but because, well, I don't know nothing else, then you're not fully involved. So that's why I tell you, look at the home. If you are listening to men that are claiming to have order, claiming to be Hebrews, and trying to teach y'all something, check their home. Do they have that shit in order? Because what is the point of me coming up here to this platform, telling you guys all this type of stuff, and my kids hate me, my wife hates me, I don't know how to take care of my home, we're always behind on bills, you know what I mean? I'm yelling and screaming, kicking my wife's out, you know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the actual household, how organized or disorganized it is, and that's how you can determine the people that are telling you something about who you are. And that's some crazy shit right there. So the word essential, what does it mean? Absolutely necessary, extremely important medicine of a disease with no known external stimulus or cause, idiopathic, essential hypertension. It is essential to keep up to date records. Essential fiber as a essential ingredient. So it is based, like, for example, like right now, it is essential that I have my house in order if I want to continue teaching you guys what I'm teaching you. Because if I don't have my house in order and it needs to be essential, then I will be exposed. We see it with other channels, with other people. Brother Job knows, we had a conversation. That's why I think that particular individual fell, because he had envy. He didn't have his essential thing in order, meaning his household, meaning his relationship with his fam, with his wife, with his kids, and specifically with yourself. I'm going to tell you something I learned. I'm going to say it real quickly. It is essential that you have a good personal life, internal well-being, meaning your spirit connection with the Most High, and then your business, you're providing. If any of those fail, you got nothing. For example, let's say you're a provider, you have a good business and your health is good, but internally you feel like shit. How many people have we seen that are successful, supposedly have a lot of money, and people like them, and all of a sudden they shoot themselves? I met this particular trainer a long time ago. She had a dad that was a cop. Everything was good, making money. He seemed happy. She was like, one day he just shot himself. See, personal life, meaning like, how people see you, how people act with you. Internal well-being, the relationship you have with the Creator, and then your finance, your business, or your W-2, whatever it is. So let's say you're a good person, people like you, your family loves you, you're trying to be good with God, but you're always broke. Does that help? No. Well, let's say you're making good money. Your relationship, with God is good, right? But you're not getting along with your wife, and your kids don't want to hear about you and shit. And matter of fact, they don't even want to visit you. Matter of fact, they're telling you you're a hypocrite, bro. What are you talking about? You know how many men I've talked to? They're trying to tell me about the Bible, and they have kids that are in sin, walking in sin, having sex without being married, getting DUIs, and they have a drinking problem as well. And they're laughing at it like it's no big deal. Like, you have no reason to go tell people anything of the book, because essential is not in you. Absolutely necessary. When an individual tries to tell y'all anything from now on, look at their household. Because if their wife and their kids have respect for them, that means they still admire their father. That means, you know what? Those people can deal better with individual strangers, because I've already made amends with my family internally. Because that shit ain't in order, and that's essential. If you're married, then you are not in order. Absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Listen to this.
Look at this.
Ahí va el Wilson empacando.
Look at the work they're doing, guys. Knocking it out.
Let me say something for all you idiots that think this is all Raza does. No. I'm gonna tell you something. Raza, a good portion of Raza, loves to do this. They like to work with the earth. They like to see plants grow. Son del, no quiero decir del pueblo like in a negative way, but there's like people that work the farm. They're attached to this. They're attached to this particular aspect of their life. This is something they enjoy. They really feel the fruit of what they do. They feel great about being able to say, "Look, I'm doing this for you. I'm glad you're enjoying the food that I'm harvesting," because they actually like it, family. It's not just because they can't do nothing else. They could make probably more money working at a factory. Sirach 7:1, do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. Like, there's two types of people in this world. Very simple. You're either a good person and you accidentally hurt people. That happens. Or you're just a bad person and you do that shit intentionally. And this is where discernment has to come in. Are you discerning the people that you're trying to be friends with? I'm going to tell you this right now. In this walk, it's going to be hard and it's going to be lonely. And it doesn't mean you have to get along with everybody. I mean, just have no hate towards them. But don't mean I have to fucking get along with you and like you. I already gave you enough chances. That's it. You're done. The Most High ain't going to be mad at me. He says forgive and move on, right? But if you have resentment towards your brethren, then that's bad. That's the key right there. Depart from the unjust. People will tell you how unjust they are. They'll show it to you eventually. They'll show their, like brother said, pride. They'll show their pride. They'll won't admit their errors. You ask them a sincere question, like, nope. And you're like, bro, for real? Okay. And then all of a sudden, things connect. Like, oh, that's why he said what he said. Well, because those people are never sincere. And you want to know what the worst part is? They're never sincere about themselves. Because that's the name of the game in this thing. The kingdom of God dwelleth in you, meaning the Most High is here internally with you. That's why he put those laws in ourselves internally. So the only way that you can actually find your way through the path is clearing the path. Getting rid of your clods. Getting rid of your thorns and nettles. All that nasty shit. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you something real quick, man. I'm glad I brought this up. Because I should have brought this out a while ago. And I think I mentioned it before. But I don't think I actually showed it to y'all. I talk about, the scriptures say, examine yourself. The scriptures constantly say that. Hold on. Let me see if I can open this up. Give me a second, family. It doesn't let me. All right, let me do this. Okay. Okay, here we go. So it says here, depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. Okay? My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness. Do you know how important that is right there? The furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. The furrows of unrighteousness. Man, this is such a beautiful verse, bro. I'm glad you found this, bro. I'm glad you found this, dude. Whew, this fire right here. It always does that. And the reason why, I want to make sure we come back to it. You should write this stuff down, family. This is, I'm going to show you some precepts on this here real quick. So you can see how to connect these words and what this means, okay? It says, my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap sevenfold. Furrows. Okay? Remember I mentioned the class 2 days ago, or a day ago, about how the parables of the Mashiach are in Hosea? Check this out. Hosea 10:10, it is my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. So now the question is, what are furrows? For the sake of, again, edification and understanding of the meaning of words, let's look up the word furrow. Okay? Furrows. These are furrows. You see that? So when you break ground, get rid of all that, clay matter and all that shit, right? Then you use a plow and a cattle or a heifer, and you pull to break and then create this as well. Okay? Now, that's the furrow. Sirach 7 says, my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness. You see how Hosea talks about harvesting? The Messiah talked about harvesting the entire time. Like, that's the parabolic talk about. Like, that's what you see in those first 4 books. Nothing else. That's why he said, I'm only talking to them that understand. And see, that's why you are given this understanding, this gift to see it clearly. You can connect dots so easily. This book is not hard for us to understand, gente. It's really not. But the only way that happens is by you cleansing your ways. Sow yourselves not. Look, it is my desire that I should chastise them, meaning, like, for example, Sirach 6, 23 to 26 to 29 talks about the work. Like, for example, the old bottle, new bottle has to, if you want to use old pigskin again, you have to dip that shit in oil several months. And then after several months, you have to take it out and you have to beat the hell out of it so it can become elastic once more. And then you can put new wines. This is a process. We're talking about a piece of leather, but for us, it's a lifetime sometimes. How long did Abraham walk with the Most High before he circumcised? 24 years. 24 years before he circumcised. It takes time. That's why Paul talked about having mercy for your brethren. And that's why he mentioned Abraham the whole time. But you see, you unlearned and those that are in denial or those that are in sin, you will never understand these things. Because you're afraid to even look at your shit. If you're afraid to look at your shit, you think you're going to be able to understand and see the shit of other people and be okay with, like, okay, let me have patience with you. Then it says here, and the people shall be gathered against them when they shall bind themselves in their 2 furrows. Now we see a harvesting. And Ephraim is a heifer that is taught and loveth to thread out the corn, but I passed over her fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride. Judah shall plow, right? Jacob, meaning both kingdoms, north and south, becoming one stick, shall break his clods. Jacob together. All 12. Not Judah over Issachar. Not Naphtali, not Benjamin. Oh, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. We the top tribe. Nah, you stupid, bro. It says your Jacob shall break his clods. Together. Together. Sow yourselves in righteousness. Sirach 7:3. My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness. You see how it's all connecting now? Do you see the parabolic speaking? Hello. And thou shalt not reap sevenfold. Sow yourselves in righteousness. Reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground. Break up that dry, stupid mind of yours. Break up that anger that you have towards your brethren, towards your family members, towards your parents, towards your kids, towards your ex-wife, for God's sakes. Like, this is where he goes, ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity. You have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy ways and in the multitude of thy mighty men. You see this, what I'm saying? These people aren't going to save you, family. That's why Sirach 7:3, my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap sevenfold. Verse 4, seek not the Lord preeminence, neither of the king and the seat honor. You see this right here? Seek not of the Lord preeminence. It's like, I'm Judah. Like when I went to that stupid clubhouse chat, you know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, well, you Issachar, the kingdom. Maybe one day you'll be just like Judah. Maybe, just maybe. If you were really our people, you wouldn't be saying that shit. That's how I know that you're not. And it doesn't bother me one bit. It bothers a lot of you guys. Justify not thyself before the Lord. How many times, or how many people, in matter of fact, Joe knows this, there used to be a person that used to say, I'm the Northern Kingdom expert. When you mess with me, the Most High messes with you. Like, whoa, bro, for real? Damn. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. I'm the Northern Kingdom expert. I never say that, family. Even though I know a lot, I still don't know shit. That's what Pa said. Even though I know a lot, I realize I don't know shit. None of us know shit. We just trying to get by. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. Before the king. You know what is so funny about that? Justify not thyself before the Lord. This is why I did this thing. Doing a personal inventory. I did it. So here are character defects. Here are assets. So your qualities and your character defects. Are you controlling? Are you cowardly in secret? Are you critical about things? Are you deceitful? Are you defensive? Are you like just naturally defiant and shit? You know what I mean? Are you disloyal? Are you kind of dishonest? Like this is something that you do yourself. Like, are you impulsive, greedy? You know what I mean? Like all these things. Now on the other side, are you agreeable, calm, courageous, concerned? Like most of us assume that we have a lot of negative character defects. You know what I'm saying? Especially those that have really been broken. A lot of you guys probably won't admit it, but this is the first step that I took. Review of flaws. I mean, I literally did it, family. Like I did it. I know that this sounds weird. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you really are about this book, you would do some shit like this. Because I have higher standards for myself now. Because I know who I am and I know what heritage I belong in. So then I have to walk in a different way and check myself along the path. See, here it goes right here. You write all these things down. The flaws, give best example of specific flaws in your life. The assets, give your best example of these specific assets in your life. Several more, because usually you have more qualities and character defects. Here are resentments towards people, towards, institutions, towards principled things, right? Some of us even may not know it and have resentment towards God himself. This is why I put this in here. 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourself whether ye be in their faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that the Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. You see the anointing, how the anointing is in you. You have been being put through that oil for several months, and maybe I'm the fucking stick that's whacking your shit. Like, yo, poof, come on, man, let that shit go, man. Stop being so emotional and sentimental. Don't be mad at me because I'm blunt. That's one thing my family had to adjust. They know I don't do stuff on purpose. I don't say stuff on purpose. I'm just very direct and blunt to the point. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like that. I don't mean I think I'm better. No, I'm just like this. I've always been this way. I always have been this way. I'm just direct to the point. I don't see gray. Like it's usually there's some gray areas I can notice, but life is black and white, man, for the most part. We try to add a little gray color to it. Self-seeking. Are you manipulating others to do my will? Putting others down internally or externally to build me up? A lot of us do that. Seriously. Engaging in character assassination. I went through that. Acting superior, meaning like I experienced that from some people. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like them. Yeah. Acting superior. Who does that? BHI. You see this? Self-seeking. So I'm resentful at the cause and here. I would love if you guys actually go back and take a picture of this, or if you like, I'll send this to you so you can print it. The fears. Do not be restricted by this list. This is just to help you get started. List your fears on the context page. You see this? These are all fears. You got to show that. You got to really, really see what the hell you're dealing with. If you're adults, you should not have a problem doing this. Now, if you're too lazy to do this, then that means that, you probably aren't really trying to figure out who you are. And like it says in Sirach 7, my son, 7:3, my son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness. If you don't do a personal inventory, how do you know what you've sowed? You understand what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'll get that later, bro. Because those things are important, family. If we cannot get that in our minds right now and how important these things are, then I don't know what it's going to be. I think that we're done on that video. Yeah, we're done on this one. Let me go back here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me take this off. Oh, okay. Hold on a second, family. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. I think I made a mistake too. I'm going to continue playing that other video we were watching. I accidentally closed one that I wanted to show you. It pertains to the topic, and it's very important. Again, all praises to the Most High for you that are recently subscribed to this channel. But be ready to get hurt. Be ready to be offended. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Let's go.
The United States has maintained groups of rightless workers. So, the resounding theme throughout this study and the resounding theme in this cycle is that the federal government ensures people without rights for business. And the United States practices, again, exclusionary citizenship. So again, I can't emphasize enough the significance of the cycles of change in immigration policy. Repatriation, the Bracero program, Operation Wetback. Every generation's experience with recruitment and then deportation is crucial to understand because it reveals this cycle of change that will continue to the present day. And whenever there are economic labor necessities, the remedy becomes Mexican migration, which stimulates a movement of people to the United States. When the labor needs are satisfied, there oftentimes occurs an economic downturn, which results in immigration restriction and deportation. And this process occurs again when the United States is in need of labor. It's important to understand this cycle because it occurs numerous times in the 20th century. It is occurring today. Today's controversy is but a reflection of this cycle.
This question of the illegals I find very interesting. Would you say that it's, at this particular moment, as important as any of the other problems facing the Union?
Oh, yes. In the last 3 weeks, the last 2 weeks, it has become an emergency for us. Well, there's an awful lot of illegals coming in by the hundred, by the thousands. Our people are not only in some of the crews where there's now strike breaking. Some of those crews are 100% illegals, outright, openly, with no attempt to disguise it. And so it's so bad now that we estimate 60 to 70% of the farm workers in California, of the resident worker, of the citizen, is out of a job because of the wetbacks. They're coming in by the thousands, just unbelievable. See, they're coming in with the consent of the Immigration Service, which is part of the Department of Justice. How else could they come? We, for instance, know that if you go to Coachella, you go to around the El Paso area, the secondary immigration checkpoints have been unmanned now for at least 3-4 weeks. They're closed. They're at night. They're dark. There aren't any patrolmen there. It's a gimmick. We think that it's a prelude at the beginning to a big drive on the part of the administration and the Mexican government to bring the Bracero program again. It's a vicious attack on the local worker, and it's just one of those things that every business thinks they can get away with it. And our job is to inform the whole country what's happening, together with a boycott, and solve it that way. And so the workers themselves, even though a lot of them are Mexican descendancy themselves, are very uptight and very, very worried and very mad about the illegals coming to break their strikes, and it takes away their jobs, their livelihood, and so forth.
Does that put you in an uncomfortable position to be against the illegal immigrants because they are from Mexico? In other words, part of your program has been an appeal to equal treatment of people of Mexican origin, right?
Oh yeah, sure, but we're speaking of the legal ones. You know, we don't want Mexico to export its poverty to us, and then we pay. It's not the agriculture, it's not society in general. It's a farm worker again paying for those sins. You know, and Mexico should take the initiative and stop exporting the poverty to us. They should do something about the rural economy over there, and then see it's a way of breaking the strike. It's a way of demoralizing the farm workers. And for instance, workers are going to ask for stamps, for food stamps. They're lining up the offices for welfare, and they're being told, we can't give you a job because there are plenty of jobs. And the workers say, well, there aren't any jobs. We just came from the fields. They won't hire us, or they just laid us off because either because we're strikers, or because we're members of the union, or because of Braceros, the illegals will do the job for half the money we're getting.
So let's not forget about how that dude talked too. You know, a lot of us don't realize that shit. That's why I never really gave credit to that person much, man. Honestly. But again, that's me. You know what I mean? Like, I look at things a certain way. Let's continue with the video.
Begin.
Let me put
because
this up.
this is actually very interesting here. Let me go here. Hold on, let me take this off. Now I'll go like this. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's begin.
Our country is being invaded. Our country is being destroyed by very, very stupid people. These are
You see this?
stupid people. We have to get them out. We have.
He just listened to what he said. You Mexicans are stupid people. I'm going to tell you why. You say, "Oh, no, that you're trying to say." No, no, no. The connotation of illegal immigrant or alien, whatever, or wetback, is Mexicans. So listen to this again. Don't ignore this.
Is being invaded. Our country is being destroyed by very, very stupid people. These are stupid people. We have to get them out. We have to take back the White House.
So in the same breath, they don't say he didn't mean the immigrants. He meant the people in the White House. Of course, that's what he supposedly meant, right? So now let's listen to this here. I'm going to bring you back, and then now I'm going to show you.
It's everything you wish for. Your site traffic.
Video first. The hypocrisy. Because obviously he's like, the Mexicans, these Mexicans, right? So let's listen into what he says, and I'm going to show you a video right now, all right? And then we're going to read a book, and then I should be a couple of videos, and that's it. Let's go.
First up, we're going to preview Wednesday night is the second Republican presidential debate. And one of the stars of the first debate joins us now, somebody who's going to be at the center of the stage, our friend Vivek Ramaswamy, 2024 candidate, co-founder of Strive Asset Management, author of Nations of Victims. I might add, a great entrepreneur in the biotech space. Vivek, welcome back to the show. I want to switch gears away from polls. Okay, I want to leave polls alone for a minute, unless you're dying to talk about polls. What I want to ask you, a couple things. I know you have a new budget plan, and, or at least budget thoughts, and I'm going to get to that too. But Vivek, headlines, besides this ABC poll, headlines are at the southern border. And the absolute catastrophe going on down there with numbers, that are virtually beyond belief. And I want to get your thoughts on that, because I think in this debate Wednesday night, you and your colleagues and the other candidates will be asked for specifics how to handle the border and how to replace Joe Biden's catastrophic failure.
So, look, I think Biden has been a national disaster, a border crisis of historic proportions that we haven't seen, a triple whammy of rising prices, rising interest rates, and flatline wages that we haven't seen since the Carter era, weaponization of the DOJ to corruption at the highest ranks. There's no doubt about it, Larry, that Biden is that national disaster. But I'm a little bit of a contrarian here. I don't think we're going to win this election just by talking about Joe Biden's failures. I think we have to talk about our own vision about what we're actually going to do to revive this country, how we're going to shut down the administrative state, how we're going to rescind a majority of those unconstitutional federal regulations that act like a wet blanket on the U.S. economy. We're going to shut down moving our military to seal that southern border rather than just complaining about it, clearly declaring independence from China, making sure that we're not dependent on our enemy for our modern way of life. That is what's going to win us this election, not just criticizing the radical left, which I think we've done a lot of. But that's why the red wave in 2022 never came. We have to stand for a vision of our own. And Larry, I think that's what's a little bit different about me than traditional partisan politicians, is that I'm actually leading us to run to something. And I'm hopeful that's what's going to lead us to success.
Well, of course, I love constructive proposals. Spent a better part of my career on that point. But Vivek, I do want to ask, on the border, you mentioned the military. There's two items that come.
So now they're going to talk about, hey, by the way, brothers who are here. So I had this class ready to go, right? And I didn't even start it because apparently YouTube didn't like this thumbnail. They blocked me. Like literally, they asked me. So I can't even do classes for 2 weeks on Bible Chronicles. That's why I'm on Rumble. Okay, that's why.
Which I
anyways,
appealed
let's continue.
Which I technically appealed it, and that's why they didn't see any fault in it. Apparently, the algorithm was the one that gave me the strike. Anyway, so we're back online. All right, let's go.
Right. No. Anyway, let's get into the topic. Okay, let's talk about the border now. Now let's pay attention. You see. Remember, family, it's important. That's why I love history. I love history, man. I love history. I love reading about it. And I'm talking about from the 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm so happy that our Father has put that spirit on me to really thoroughly understand or want to understand the historical aspect of what goes on in our lives. Because you get to hear people repeat themselves over and over and over again. And then you see the joke of the joke's on you, sucker. Anyway, let's go.
To mind. Number one, the failure of the Mexican military. Trump persuaded AMLO to put 15,000 troops or 20,000 troops on the border in order to help us with the Remain in Mexico policy. I don't know where you stand on that, but that's one point I want to ask you. And the second point is the matter of deportation. Mr. Trump just spoke in Iowa last week, and he mentioned going back to the 1950s, the so-called Eisenhower Plan, which deported over 1 million illegal immigrants at the time. In your judgment, Vivek, besides Remain in Mexico, should there be a deportation policy?
The answer to that is yes, and I've talked about Eisenhower quite a bit on the campaign trail. If we're a nation founded on the rule of law, we have to stand for the rule of law. And we can't look our kids in the eye and say, you have to follow the law, if the government itself does not follow.
So I also want to bring up a point here. It's an excellent time to bring up a point. You cannot be selective when it's convenient. You say, oh, this country is founded on the law, meaning the Constitution of 1776, right? So then you constitutionalists, you guys always run to this Constitution of 1776, which means you want to honor the whole Constitution for its purity, meaning that now whenever we look back at, well, what was my family doing in 1776 when you guys were writing this Constitution? Oh, shoot. Are you telling me, man, my people were getting enslaved by you guys? Oh, and at the same time, they were taking land through head right programs, right? By bringing slaves across. Yeah, it's another topic. But anyways, let's go.
Follow the law either. So I think the only answer, Larry, is in a humane and as respectful of a manner, deport the family unit back to the country of origin when they are here illegally. I will never break apart families. I'm a pro-family person. But you have to take the family unit and return them back to the country of origin. I support, of course, the Remain in Mexico policy. I support finishing the wall. But I would go further.
So remember the topic Eisenhower. The topic Eisenhower. So the Eisenhower thing, right? I don't know if you guys have heard this. Eisenhower. Watch this real quick. I'm going to show you this real quick. See, it's important to understand history because then you'll know what they're talking about. You'll hear their voice and like, oh, I know what you're saying now. You just don't want to say it. So let's listen to what they're saying. Oh, come on, man.
Country that had a border.
Okay, let's listen to this real quick. And I'm gonna show you something.
Upon my inauguration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration and commence the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. This is not sustainable. You don't have to know very much to know. I looked at Tucson, Arizona today. Did you see that? Thousands and thousands of people all over. People walk out of their house, they say, what's happened to our beautiful place? But this is in many towns and cities all over. Look at New York City. But, you see New York, but you don't see other places so much. And it's happening like that. Much worse, actually, much worse. This is not sustainable. No country can sustain it or financially can sustain it. Nobody could possibly sustain something like this. And they're putting young children into schools who don't speak any English. And they're in school. Nobody is there to teach them. They're sitting in class. They don't understand.
That's a lie, but anyways, let's go.
Understand anything that's going on in the school. It's a horrible situation, and it would have never happened. And it should. We had the strongest border in history. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a third world country that had a border like this, ever. There's never been anything like it. We built nearly 500 miles of border wall. They like to say.
Okay, so they didn't build anything. Remember, he keeps saying Eisenhower, right? Eisenhower. This is Eisenhower. Who is this Eisenhower? All right, so in case you guys don't know, Eisenhower was the so-called individual that authorized this right here. Okay? This right here.
There's one simple hearing hack.
Sorry. This right here. Come on, man. I don't want just play the video for God's sakes, bro. Yeah, I'll just play it here. So Eisenhower.
Have you tried Wix or
was the president that was behind Operation Wetback. Hold on a second. Yes, that's exactly what they're talking about. Donald Trump and Vivek Salami. They're talking about Operation Wetback. Okay? Eisenhower. And I'm going to read something. Matter of fact, I found a thesis. I found it real interesting because it actually says what I wanted to say. I mean, much more eloquently. And I'm going to read it and then we'll be, and that's it. I haven't been feeling well, fam. I've been sleeping 2 hours, waking up, sleeping 2 hours, waking up. I've had some thoughts, anyways. It just says I haven't been resting well. But let's go. All right. So let's find out. Remember, they mentioned the biggest operation, Eisenhower. You're right, and I'm an advocate of that. Okay, this is what they're saying, Operation Wetback. So we're gonna find out what happens in Operation Wetback.
My name is Miguel Levario. I'm an associate professor of history at Texas Tech University and author of Militarizing the Border When Mexicans Became the Enemy. Between 1944 and 1954, when Operation Wetback went into effect, it was known by some scholars and by the INS as the decade of the wetback, the idea that our borders are being invaded by unauthorized immigrants from Mexico especially. We also have the dawn of the Cold War. The United States was very much aware or felt that its borders were quite porous, needed to be secure to a degree because of the threat of a nuclear attack. I believe it was the FBI who would give out public service announcements on radios telling people to be vigilant of an unassuming migrant crossing the river in a ragtag suit and a ragtag suitcase, that don't believe that they're not threatening, that they could actually fit an atomic bomb and threaten our livelihood. And these were public service announcements that they would use. So this idea of vigilance, national security, were definitely on the radar and definitely in the public mindset in the early years of the Cold War. And immigration kind of fell in through that. Border Patrol had started to become more and more formal. They started to become more aggressive in their tactics, setting up roadblocks, doing raids. What we have here is an aggressive and sort of paramilitary approach into deportation and mass deportation, and of course the use of propaganda to address the issue of unauthorized Mexican workers in the United States. Because the Border Patrol agency was so small, they're using local law enforcement. So while they're out there trying to look for undocumented immigrants, what aren't they doing? Their own basic responsibilities of keeping neighborhoods safe, addressing burglaries, murders, whatever it could be. The Operation Wetback was terminated in large part because of cost, in large part because of it just became too taxing on local resources. And what we also found out is that regardless of how far you sent them into the interior, within days, sometimes weeks, we're right back in there. It wasn't as successful as the Border Patrol made it out to be, but they had to save face, as it is. And we understand with politics, they didn't solve the issue, obviously, because we've revisited that issue in every decade since the 1920s.
We're going to show this, and this is why I tell you I love history, because you're seeing this repeat itself over and over and over again and again and again. So at what point is it real? It's kind of like, that whole cry wolf, whatever, like that, the wolf is here, and it's a lie. Eventually, you just got to find out that this is all a lie. But hey, you guys that are loving conspiracy theories, Republicans, Democrats, all you voters of the Gringolandias here, you're going to find out it's going to hurt you right in the butt ducks, what I'm going to show you. Because every time these guys say, like Eisenhower, yeah, the massive deportation, you guys have no idea what you're saying. You have no idea what that entails. You understand the fear, not being able to sleep at night. Millions of people were deported, so-called Mexican Americans, born on this side, on this land here, that never left. They were deported because they looked like me, like him. That's the operation that they're talking about. Eisenhower. They want to bring that back.
Today, our politicians, which I think incorrectly, but our politicians don't separate immigration with national security or even drug smuggling or any kind of smuggling of illicit goods. They kind of lump them all together as if they're all the same thing, which is grossly inaccurate.
And, you know, there's no better way to show you this than to actually read this, man. Check this out. Let me see if I can get this. No, okay, so we're talking about that's right. Let me not forget this, okay? Because he said something else too that hold on, let's close this real quick. There it goes right there. Let me close this. Let me close this and this. Oh no, not that. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is from it's a thesis that I found. Pretty interesting. Disposable Mexican. Let me see if I can magnify it. Beautiful. University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, thesis and dissertation. It says Operation Wetbag of 1954. The deportation of undocumented workers in California and Texas. That's just the undocumented, not even considering the actual documented ones, right? So this particular person, I like this. You know, I've read it. I haven't read it all, obviously, but what I've read so far, I was like, you know what? Okay, and it's supported. You know that it's here. A disposable Mexican Operation Wetbag, 1954. The deportation of undocumented workers in California and Texas. I believe people that write a thesis is because they want to have a doctorate, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I think so. Submitted to the Graduate School of University of Texas Pan American in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Master Arts. Oh, I think so. A master's. That's right, a master's. I think that's. I'm not college educated, man. 1997. It's signed by Dr. Rocha, Faubion, Adir. As you can see, committee members. You know, so okay, sounds good, right? Again, I'm not saying this is so-called something to glorify. No. I like what she says, and I'm going to read you the highlighted parts because it's going to be in the Operation Wetbag in California and political social operations here and illegal immigration. So it's just pertinent parts. Very interesting stuff here. Okay, let's go to the highlighted part. Let me see if I can. I'll just start with this. Just to intro them real quick, right? It says here, when they need our work, they call us migrants. After the harvest, we are bums and have to get out. This sentiment, expressed by an unknown Mexican migrant worker, described a common attitude directed towards Mexican undocumented workers. Mexican laborers are often portrayed as the germ that are destroying America. Do we not hear that? 1917, you so-called Mexicans, you need to start remembering. In 1917, your abuelos, who were coming from Mexico to work here in America, were getting fumigated with those DDTs, you know, that, yeah, almost every day, right? Because supposedly we carry germs. Although many of these workers are encouraged to migrate into the United States. Okay, so anyways, they blame the Mexicans for everything. Wetbag, that's the first term. First time being used in Eisenhower time. You'll see. Now, chapter 2, illegal immigration and the Bracero program. The very interesting thesis. I'd suggest for you guys to read it. Let's get to the, you know, it's fine. Let me get to this point. Here goes all that. Watch this. The illegal migration that followed the Immigration Act of 1917 That is also 1917 gas bath at the border. See, the gas bath riot. This is real stuff. They were fumigating our brothers and sisters. Yeah, this is real. Report of medical inspection of immigrants, beaners, wetbacks. Yeah, this is what they did. As a matter of fact, this is the technique that they use in the so-called Holocaust, and I call it so-called. Look, they would put it in line, and you'd have to cross there every day. They could check you. They'd get all our sisters, our mothers, our abuelas naked, inspect them in their crevices by men. See, kind of like the same way they did it to the so-called Asians. Look, this is DDT. That's what kills the cucarachas in Mexico. Very popular. DDT. Watch this. DDT fumiga. It was like this right here. Look at that. Insect killer. Man, this thing DDT fumiga pump. What is it? A pump? We used to have one of these. No, man, not that. Oh, like that. Here it goes like that. It's like this. Bam. I say DDT and goes. You see a cockroach, man, you spray that thing. Zancudos también. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, in the air, in the sky, in the air, huh? Hey, for this for real, man. That's and you know they would spray this on. There you go. Look, it's not a joke.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
And you so-called Mexicans, you guys are forgetting this, and you're gonna be involved politically. These subliminal messages, they're called dog whistles. This is dog whistle. Eisenhower. Oh, I'm gonna use the Eisenhower approach. Oh, you mean you're going to wet operation wetback us again? You're gonna deport me and my wife and my kids because we look Mexicans? And you know it's funny because this doesn't happen to no other nation in the world. Anyways, so let's continue. Very interesting, but I'm gonna get to the point. Here we go. On January 6, 1931, the Secretary of Labor, William N. Doak, asked Congress to appropriate funds for the immediate deportation of over 400,000 illegal aliens residing in the country. This is in 1931. Yeah, hey, that's one of the years I was born, bro. Thank you, sir. They used to be mounted on pickup trucks and spray the neighborhood. Yeah. Oh man. Whoa. Yeah, bro. That's wow. You know what? I believe that, and that's how they were doing it to your aliens. They were doing that to us too. Watch this, and that's because you know what? The DDT, el DDT, it has a chemical, a cancerous chemical in it. Man, I have a book called The War Against the Puerto Rican, War Against Puerto Rico, or something like that. It's an interesting book. Anyways, it says in the series of, and let's watch this. So, an immediate deportation of over 400,000 illegal aliens residing in the country. Is this in 1931? They're talking about it still. It says in the series of repatriation and deportation drives and staged throughout the Great Depression, over 500,000 Mexicans and American citizens of Mexican descent were aggressively, Vivek, both you, Vivek, and Donald Trump, both of your parents are not from this country. Oh, my dear Jesus. Hold on a second.
Gotcha, bitch.
Vivek,
Gotcha, bitch.
it's for your mama.
Gotcha, bitch.
It's for your daddy.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hey, Trump.
Gotcha, bitch.
Shut your face, hypocritical people. You're a hypocritical nation of people. The nerve of you. Mexican citizens of Mexican descent were aggressively and inhumanely uprooted and cast out of a nation that only years earlier had encouraged them to cross the border. Typical, huh? But no, let's use Eisenhower. Let's use the famous Eisenhower law. Let's continue. And then we're going to be done. Not going to take too long. Yeah, I don't care anyways. Not like you care. Chapter 3. The controversy surrounding the presence of the undocumented workers in the U.S. emerged from two groups, which were distinct motivations. Watch this. Those who oppose the illegal entry of Mexican laborers. Republicans, generally represented social welfare organizations. They're gonna they consume all the medical costs. Labor unions, they take our jobs. Mexican American organizations, you haters. Some of you guys who you call yourselves, and listen, I know you're gonna hurt your butt, but that whole thought of Chicano, all you're doing is you basically calling yourself like a Negro, because that's what the white man used against y'all. And the reality is, Mexicano. You just want to take the MA. You always will. If you're Mexican, you're gonna always be Mexican. I don't know why you guys use that Chicano stuff. Honestly, it's to me, it makes no sense. It's a white man title that gave. I know you guys are saying historically. No, I've done my homework. It's white man gave it to you. And you know the funny part is that the brown beret came out of Chicago. That's another story. Anyways, it says here, small farmers and religious groups who believe that the undocumented Mexican workers was a threat to social, political, and economic stability of the country. This is in the 1950s. We're seeing this in 1930, 1940, 1950. Watch this. In 1950, President Truman created the President's Commission on Migratory Labor in order to thoroughly investigate the problem and questions pertaining to migratory labor involved American agriculture. After years of struggling for validation, the argument of anti-wetback organizations were finally given credence. You see that? The arguments of anti-wetback organizations were finally given credence. The Commission on Migratory Labor found that the Bracero program had not decreased illegal immigration, but encouraged influx. They contributed to a decrease in wages and an increase in unemployment on wetbacks, and suspected their presence attributed to the neglect of domestic migratory work. In addition, undocumented workers were viewed as the pawns of agricultural interest groups who did nothing to protect them from the mistreatment and abuse. You know, I find that very interesting because these people here, these farmers that get incentives, subsidized money, are the same ones that hired them. And they're the last people that they keep their mouth. You don't see nobody, none of them fighting for, oh yeah, we need migrant workers, but you ain't fighting. You're not using your muscle for the people that work. No, you use them and you abuse them and you're done. Trump, yeah, he's German. It's funny, Vivek. Gotcha, bitch. Your parents are from India. Gotcha, bitch. And nobody appreciates the smell of the food they carry. Sorry. I'm not going to get personal. That's stupid. Anyways, it says here, members of the President's Commission had visited El Paso Valley, the Rio Grande Valley, and the Imperial Valley, which were areas with the highest concentration of, quote-unquote, illegals. Damn beaners. A member who was horrified with these conditions stated, I have seen with my own eyes people living in these shacks and sheds, getting their water to use, drink, and cook without the irrigation ditches. No type of sanitary facilities, bathing, or toiletry facilities of any kind within sight. They lived in shacks that wouldn't put up a horse, that I wouldn't put a horse in. As you can see, before that, we read how these agriculturists, they didn't give a damn about our people. They need you, but then they don't. Opponents ridiculed the commission's reports and accused it of lacking justifiable evidence. The three government agencies most directly involved in the wetback situation, watch this, the Department of Labor, the State Department, and the Department of Justice, all agreed with the commission that action was imperative, but would not commit themselves to any definite measures. Officials in the State Department were concerned with the quote-unquote wetback situation, particularly, meaning you Mexicans, because of the negative effect it had on U.S. and Mexico relations. Mexico blamed the U.S. growers for encouraging the illegal exodus of Mexican citizens and wanted the federal government to rectify the situation. However, Gringolandia, who loves to do this, The the State Department was not enthusiastic about ending the Bracero program, even though they agreed that it was not providing an effective deterrent to illegal immigration. You see that? So they use you. It's kind of like those guys that are in the closet. You know what I'm saying? Like they have sex with men. You know, you've seen it in their movies, right? They have sex with men, but then they hurt them. Like they hate them. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like you need them, but you hate them. It's weird. Now the reason I'm saying is because I was watching Jeffrey Dahmer. It's like he needed them, but he hated them. There was a disgusting aspect of what he was. Anyway, sorry, man. Just watching shows, you know. Officials in labor departments also agreed with Commission's report, but would not offer such solutions. On the other hand, the Justice Department, meaning people that make these laws, judicial department, you know, like the judicial law, right? Like the judges, not the criminal law, the judicial law, the ones that really make these laws happen, which supervise the United States Immigration and Naturalization Service, agreed that action was needed, but realized they did not possess the strength to enforce strict measures. Attorney General J. Howard McGraw did not wish to condone employers for... See, here he goes. Attorney General Howard McGraw did not wish to condone employers for encouraging the illegal immigration of their employees and disagreed with any penalty legislation that would hold them accountable. It's still happening today. The double standard of you guys. Let me see that. Those millions recently crossing the border are bros from Central and South country, not Mexicans. If you review the immigration law, they going them. Yeah, I know that. But that's why I said when you say illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, the connotation is Mexican. So I'm just slapping everybody around because that's technically what they say. They don't isolate the Venezuelans. They don't say Salvadoreños. They say illegal aliens. The connotation is Mexican. I know that the majority are from Central. If you watched from the beginning, you would see that was my initial mentioning. And yes, Mexicans are still reclicking and return, but not as... Yeah, I know. I just, you know, the common sense Republican concept is if you're an illegal alien, you're Mexican. You could be Salvadoreño, you could... You're Mexican. Anyway, look, check this out. So he's not holding the companies accountable. McGraw blames Mexico's failing economy for the increase of illegal immigration. See, again, blaming them for fentanyl, blaming them for jobs being taken, blaming them for a failed economy, and stated that the invasion, don't we hear this often? This is in 1950. Would continue regardless of whether the commission report became an administrative policy or not. Check this out. The American public tended to view the wetback situation, quote unquote, wetback, as an isolated problem confined to the southwest border area. Watch this. It was not until 1951 that magazines and newspapers, this is where you talk about Khazarians, they're the ones that power the media. They also had their 2 cents into it, like this guy here. This bastard right here. Yeah, I didn't get it away from me. This bastard right here. This douchebag. This son of a... This mofo. This guy right here. This a Khazarian so-called Jew, which is... I don't believe you guys are. I think you guys are the devil of the Bible. He passed a law to separate children from their parents. And this guy was nuts. Look, take a picture of that. Okay, just take a snapshot of that one. Take a snapshot of that one. Snapshot of that one. Snapshot of that one. Snapshot of that one. That one. That one. That one. And that one. That right there. He was having a conversation with somebody. And they're like, this guy's really crazy. Supposedly, so-called the Jewish people who supposedly went through the Holocaust, supposedly, are the ones passing laws to treat us like in a horrendous manner. The guy is a lunatic. Check this. It was not until 1951 that the magazines and newspapers began displaying the interest in the wetback, quote-unquote, wetback, and the impact they were having on American society. Virtually overnight, meaning like that. the American people became informed about the problem plaguing the Southwest and how these problems would soon affect all Americans. You see this, family? Are we not seeing this often? Repetitive? Increasing crime rates. Watch this. Okay. Groups such as the American GI Forum, the American Federation of Labor, and the American media, Jewish-owned fake Jew, Khazarians, focus on the negative effects of the undocumented worker and charge illegal immigrants, okay? So we're always the problem, with increasing crime rate. You see this? Are we not saying, aren't they saying the cartels? The cartels, we need to go over there because the cartels. Narcotic use. They're the ones giving us fentanyl. Fentanyl. No, it's coke, heroin, fentanyl. It's because it's Mexicans. Welfare costs. You see, oh, now we're bringing people here and the economy is going to be destroyed. And spreading disease. 1917, typhus. Lice. The Bracero program. Wetbacks were depicted as corrupt. What did Donald Trump say? What did he say? He said it's the Mexicans are murderers. Hold on a second. Donald. Bonses. Here goes right here.
Our country is in serious trouble. When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak.
See? Wetbacks are depicted as corrupt and sinister individuals who infiltrated the border with the sole purpose of robbing decent, hardworking white people. You decent, hardworking white people. Americans are their jobs. Taking my job. Damn Bader, taking my job. Funny part is they already have legal papers and they're still living on shelters. I know, huh? Check this out. These nativists, the so-called ones that call themselves Americans. You guys are not Americans, okay? I'm never going to call you that. I'm going to call you Anglos, Europeans. And for black folks, I'm going to call you guys Africans, West Africans, because you're not of America. Let me see what you're saying. Just that all across our borders, and many staying here, even white USA people that work remotely and not paying taxes, they complain to speak English in their community. I know, dude, I know, hey, no. Los Venezolanos. Yeah, oh, wow, I didn't know that. The nativists dedicated themselves to gathering as much information as possible concerning problems. Oh, European settlers. Yeah, African settlers and European settlers. I'm not going to call you guys Americans. You're not of America. You are European settlers. You're a European illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. European illegal aliens and African illegal aliens. Specifically West Africans. Themselves, that's it, dedicated themselves to gather as much information as possible concerning problems attributed to the wetback, quote-unquote, influx. Their cause studies were used to reinforce their argument that penalty legislation and immigration restraints were crucial. The most vocal, in 1951, the National Farm Labor Union complained to the Department of Labor that commercial growers were using laborers imported from Mexico. Continue. The group with the most direct connection to illegal immigrants was the Mexican-American community. You see that? What is it called? Reino? That's what I meant, bro. The group with the most direct connection or connotation to illegal immigrant or wetback or beaner or spick. Well, Puerto Ricans, but that's mostly in the East Coast. Was the Mexican-American community or Mexicans. Americans of Mexican descent generally supported stricter immigration restrictions because the presence of undocumented workers had led to the depressed wages and unemployment. No, it's called stupid assimilation. I want to be like the other nation. That's what it is. but many were torn by this issue. Mexican Americans recognized the illegals, quote unquote, were being exploited and abused by employers who viewed their access to them as a profound capitalistic right to cheap labor. Yeah. That's kind of what's going on in America. You guys don't build anything anymore. And you're wondering why. Joining Mexican Americans, organizations representing minority groups frequently employed as migratory workers express their support for migration restraints. Watch this. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, became concerned when both quote-unquote braceros, meaning illegal aliens, right? Or wetbacks, they just didn't want to say it, and undocumented workers were traveling into states that generally employed black migrant laborers. The NAACP blamed the importation of Mexican nationals. Aren't they not doing that now? Do you not see black people now going and voting for, I'm going to vote for Trump now. Mexican nationals will increase their unemployment among black field workers in the South. Well, I mean, let me just say something. Y'all cannot work Mexicans or Hispanics. If they get to work the field, you can't work them. Cannot outwork them, which is what happens. They just saw that you guys don't producing. Sorry, but the hardest workers in the world are so-called Mexicans. That's a fact. I'm not lying. Statistically, it's true. In an article in the New Republic, George Stitt, a black field worker living in Arkansas, explained how the wetback, quote-unquote, situation affected him. You see that? The importation of Mexican nationals did not begin until 1949. Sure. I like how they separate us, this part here, with the natives. Other groups included the Congress of American Indians, meaning the $5 ones, who testified before the Congressional Committee on Agriculture regarding the detrimental effects of quote-unquote illegal immigrants was having on the 33,000 Native American migratory workers in the United States. Wow. Yeah. This is a very interesting thesis. Here it goes. I'm going to post it here. Y'all can read it. Yeah, I'm on Rumble too. I can read it. Now I'm going to show you this real quick, and then we're going to be done. Because you know what? These guys, man, they're getting away with a lot of stupid talk. And
they don't teach investing in school. And I think that's one of the...
Watch this real quick. A couple of videos we're going to talk right now. All right, let's go.
People who really...
That's 2 commercials, man. Damn it. You see what I mean, fam? You see what I'm saying? I'm not lying. Oh, yeah, we are the most attacked in this country. For sure. For sure. Listen to this, okay? A couple of idiots. But then I'm going to prove a point. Because, Vic, I haven't forgotten about you, Salami. I haven't forgotten about you, Salami. Okay? So let's listen in.
Video shows train filled with migrants heading toward U.S. southern border from Mexico.
It's not people. It's single men. Let's be clear. It's single military-age males. People need to wake up, dude. We are under attack. We are being invaded. Most Americans...
Invasion, quote-unquote invasion, that's this thesis that was talking about from 1930, 1940, 1950. It's still going on, right? Okay. But then now let's listen to what he says. All right? This says us Mexicans or Hispanics. But you know they're saying Mexican. Y'all know what I mean. If you're Venezolano, whatever, Nicaragüense, Hondureño, you come, hey, brother, I'm talking to you too. But you know, they call us Mexicans, bro, so it is what it is. All right, let's go.
Americans are not equipped to deal with what's happening here. No. Like, you're not going to be able to walk down the street with your wife. You're not going to be able to take your kids to places because these motherfuckers are going to do what they've been doing over in Europe, which is attacking people, taking their shit, living in their homes. This is a joy.
You hear this? So now we're going to come up with... Oh, this is funny. Hold on. Let's continue.
George Soros funded invasion to destroy Western culture. That is not a conspiracy theory, and something needs to be done or we are going to lose our country forever.
Oh, whoa. There's so much power behind the base, man. Shut your face, fool. Let me show you something real quick. I mean, they say that you guys don't believe in, you guys believe in, that's not conspiracy theory. Okay. I'm almost done. Let's go.
Administrative state is anti-constitutional. It's the rule of the few for their own sakes, a distinct and insular class of people, rather than a trained elite, corrupt and distant from the people whom they rule. The administrative state is openly hostile to the Constitution. It allows for myriad methods of policymaking. In reality, at the end of the day, it represents a return to pre-constitutional government. The administrative state today is, rather than the aristocracy that the progressives hoped it would be, simply an oligarchy. It's the rule of the few for their own sakes, a distinct and insular class of people, rather than a trained elite, corrupt and distant from the people whom they rule. They're supported by a coterie of clientele groups who depend upon the modern administrative state for privileges and benefits. The average person in this system is systematically and fundamentally disenfranchised. Policy is not made for his benefit, and he is largely unable to control the machinery of the state. In sum, the administrative state is the antithesis of constitutional government and cannot even live up to the expectations of its progressive founders. The administrative state intrudes upon even the minutest aspects of people's lives. The federal government dictates the amount of water that you can have in your washing machine and in your dishwasher. The federal government dictates the content of the light bulbs that light up your house in the evening. They dictate the composition of the spouts on the gas can that you use to fill your lawnmower. They've determined that the ordinary gas can spout allows for too many fumes to escape, and so instead they created a system which is all but impossible for the ordinary person to use and probably causes more spills anyway. The federal government...
That's my brother, man. I love that.
Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch.
That's why I still, hey, you know what, man? That's when I was saying that I was waking up, sleeping 2 hours, going to sleep, sleeping 2 hours. It's because of this class. Like it was like I know what I believe in, man. The Most High, our Father. He was like trying to wake me up. Do the class, do the class, do the class. I was like, man, I really had a lot of work this week, fam. Thank God. Thank God. Hey, Solomé, I really appreciate that consejo you gave me, bro. You're always working, man. I never forgot that advice, man. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Let me read this. Their time is coming to the end, so they want to focus on their only card to play. The imperialist war of old conquer doctrine, but even then they are pooped in options. Yep. Well, yeah. They're actually still going by the whole Monroe doctrine. They're just not saying it. And let's finish this up. This is funny to me. Like these guys, the imperialist, the Constitution was written because I'm gonna show you who wrote the Constitution, dummy. And then you guys keep talking about, don't talk about the past, forget about 1492, but you know the Constitution. Now, man, that's history. So when you reflect on the Constitution, shouldn't I reflect on people that were around that time that were my gente? What were we doing? Sure as hell wasn't beneficial to us. Let's go.
Dictates to the manufacturers of step ladders the angle at which the ladder must be placed when they test it for the sake of determining its weight rating. Meanwhile, we might note, the administrative state seems to be sincerely uninterested in performing the tasks that our founding fathers expected legitimate government to perform.
Remember, our founding fathers, they wanted this. Okay. Let me speed it up because this guy talks too slow for me. You talk too slow, bro. Speed it up, bro. Yeah, just getting slaughtered, man. Like this. Bruh. Oh, no, not that one. Hold on a second. Yeah, and when the Most High allows it and the Messiah returns, he's gonna say this to them for using his word and all that.
Keep my name out your mouth.
That's for trying to tell people that you the people of the book. All these guys, right? These are their founding fathers. Okay, check it out.
Major cities have chronic amounts of unsolved murders, which they never seem to bother to get to in many cases. The city of Detroit discovered several years ago a backlog of thousands of unprocessed rape kits that took more than a decade to finish. The mayor of Portland, Oregon seems perfectly content to allow Antifa to take over the streets of the city and to enforce the laws themselves. And Portland is one of a number of examples of progressive cities on the West Coast, which also seem perfectly content to allow their cities to become mountains of drugs and human excrement. At the national level, our government, or at least much of our government, seems to be deeply unconcerned for maintaining our territorial integrity in the face of thousands, if not millions, of illegal immigrants coming into the country, and thus
See what I mean? So, okay. So now, before I go, I'm going to show you this real quick. Let me show you something now. All right. Remember, they're so-called. They're very proud of their. They're very proud. They're very proud of. Oh yeah. Our founding fathers. Our founding fathers. Okay, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist. This goes to you Republicans, and you funny Democrats. You guys are funny too. Both of you guys are funny. I mean, a Republican. Listen, I would even ask to debate you. I would debate a Republican. But see, you got to be ready though, because I'm going to bring some scriptures to this whole thing. So if you want to debate me, you better know what you're talking about on a political level and on the actual scriptural level. I'm down, but you guys won't. So anyways, so you guys, conspiracy theory, like the kids are being stolen and all. Now you don't care about our kids, okay? Stop saying, because these kids getting kidnapped. You don't care. You don't care about our kids at all. Don't be a hypocrite. You sound even more stupid. But anyways, these are your founding fathers. This is the doctrine you believe in. See, it was written from the get-go. You see, what you guys are doing, Republicans, all of you guys, right? Your founding fathers were nothing more and nothing less but these people. Let's go.
Legend of the Craft, Legend of the Temple.
My name on the Masonic and the Order of the Eastern Star, the Baphomet there. Photo of George Washington's sash worn in the Revolutionary War at the time he resigned his commission in 1783. Oh boy. The building of Solomon's Temple. Oh look, this is George Washington's Masonic apron. Oh, look at that. George Washington. Okay. Oop, Thomas Jefferson. James Madison. Check it out. James Monroe. Andrew Jackson.
Here you have Masonic presidents of our country. Masonic presidents. I'll zoom in here so you can read a little bit better. George Washington, Mason, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Knox Polk, James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Warren Gamaliel Harding, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, Gerald Ford, the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man. There you have George Washington with a nice all-seeing eye radiating down over the White House. Nice imagery there. The white apron there, made of lamb's wool, and it symbolizes the veil that veils the Holy of Holies from the God of Masonry, which is right directly behind the veil. Excuse me there, I have to point there. That's the God of Masonry. You see the square, you see the compass, this thing here, right there, the G in the middle, does not stand for God. It does not stand for geometry. It stands for generativity. It is a sex symbol. Okay?
Damn! Whoa! Man, oh man! Yeah. But, they're going to say, that's not true. That's not true. They wrote the Constitution. Your Constitution. The same law when you had the 13 colonies, which Florida wasn't part of, in case you guys forgot. You forget about all that history. When you were in the 13 colonies, you guys forget about all that history from that point, from that land to the east, to the west. You guys don't study that at all. I'm not sure why. Now, let me finish this with this doofus here, okay? He's talking about Mexicans, right? Watch what he called us too. He called us dogs. Let me see. Cheatham foresaw their future of civil war too in America. All the real Americans they victimize will demand receipts. They have to pay their granddaddy crimes go against our tribal nations. That's right. So now let's listen into this guy. Look what he calls us. He calls us dogs. Basically, he compared us to a dog. That's what he did.
Further than Trump did on those measures, Larry. I think we have a legitimate, legal, ethically, and morally justifiable use case for the U.S. military to seal that southern border. Because right now, those cartels have financed tunnels underneath that wall. So the wall was a good start, but it's not enough. And I think that that's perfectly appropriate to use our own military to secure our own border against an invasion of both drugs and illegal armed gunmen at our own southern border. And that's how I'll lead as Commander-in-Chief.
It's an interesting point that you make here, and an important point. Some people, Vivek, have said okay, let's use the U.S. military to go after the cartels, the Mexican drug cartels, that many people believe are actually running the border. Okay, it sounds like you would like to go further than that. Could you just widen that? Tell us more about the use of the U.S. military down the border.
Over the past 6 months.
And by the way, this guy here, he's Russian or he's something, Ukrainian. You can tell by his accent he's not from here, but they work real hard to hide that accent. I pay attention, believe me. This guy too. I'm telling you, man. You can hear his how about you, my friend? How was your political debate today? He grew up hearing that. So he works real hard to hide that. Anyways, that's not the point. Let's go.
So the first step how I'm going to deal with this is place the military to seal the holes on the southern border, especially those areas that are not covered by the wall already. And then I'm going to pick up the phone, and I'm going to have a phone call with Claudia Sheinbaum or whoever it is that wins the next Mexican presidential election. I'm grateful that AMLO is going to be out. Mexico has an election in 2024. Whether it's Sheinbaum or somebody else who wins that election, I'm going to reset the relationship and say, listen up, for a tiny fraction, and it will be a tiny fraction of what we have already spent in Ukraine, we can help you, Mexico, regain your sovereignty from the Mexican drug cartels who are spilling over into our own homeland here. But if you don't do it, then we will come in and get the job done ourselves. Because the fact of the matter is, it's like if you have a neighbor who has a dog that comes over to your yard and keeps biting your family members repeatedly. If they keep repeatedly doing that, at some point you can take a shotgun and shoot that dog. That's legitimate, legal, morally, ethically justified. And I think the same thing applies to a country to our south that has legitimate, legal cartels who are spilling over.
Let's pay close attention to this. He just compared us to a dog. Now, I don't live around neighbors with the dog that is constantly biting my family. The first time it would be taken care of. I don't know why it would happen all over again. But remember, it's dog whistle. They're talking dogs. What do dogs have? They're animals. They have fleas. They got disease. You know what I mean? They're not human. They're subhuman. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Into our own homeland here. But if you don't do it, then
our own get your ass back to India, man. Shut up.
Then we will come in and get the job done ourselves. Because the fact of the matter is, it's like if you have a neighbor who has a dog that comes over to your yard and keeps biting your family members repeatedly. If they keep repeatedly doing that, at some point you can take a shotgun and shoot that dog. That's legitimate, legal, morally.
All right, so I'm almost done. So, you know, they're like saying these Mexicans, huh? These Mexicans. Well, howdy doody. Well, howdy doody right here, huh? I thought it was just Mexicans. No, it's not. It's people that are just like you. Your people. Your people are crossing the border. Your people are crossing the border. You people from India are crossing the border, and you got a Vivek Salami. The nerve of him. The nerve of him. The nerve of him. Look, let's listen in. All right, let's go.
Punjabi.
Where?
Punjabi only.
Where are you going? New York, California. Where are you going?
California.
California? Where are you from?
California.
Where are you from?
India.
You're India?
India.
And you?
India.
Where are you going?
India.
California.
California. You?
California.
Where are you from?
India.
You? Where are you from?
India.
Where are you going?
California.
You?
India. Going to New York.
Where are you going? Where are you from? India?
New York.
You?
India, New York.
You?
India, New York.
You?
India, California.
You?
California.
Where? You?
India, California.
You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
India.
Where?
Punjabi.
Where?
Punjabi only.
Where are you going? New York, California. Where are you going?
California.
California? Where are you from?
California.
Where are you from?
India.
You're India? And you?
India. India.
Where are you going?
California.
California? You?
California.
Where are you from?
India.
You? Where are you from?
India.
Where are you going?
California.
You?
India. Going to New York.
Where are you going? Where are you from? India?
New York.
You?
India, New York.
You?
India, New York.
You?
India, California.
You?
California.
Where? You?
India, California.
You?
Oh my dear Jesus. Who are you people, man? Like, here goes another one. Here goes another one.
Where you going? You?
Bangladesh. Look, there's more.
Jersey?
Hey, wait a minute. I thought it was just Mexicans, bro. Look at this. There's more of these guys.
You?
Bangladesh.
Where you going?
New York.
You?
Bangladesh.
Where you going?
Georgia.
You?
Bangladesh.
Where you going?
Georgia.
You?
New York.
New York? Where you from? Where you from? Where are you from? Africa,
like,
Haiti? Where you
he's
from?
like, I'm not answering you, fool. Shut up. Hell no. At least these guys have a little bit more sense. Those guys from India, like, I'm from India and I'm going to New York. It's because Vivek said I could come over. Oh, wow. Come on, man. You can't play games with me, bro. Y'all are stupid. What do you think I am? Stupid? Here, I'm going to show you something real quick. Let's have a little bit of fun. Because I'm done. Watch what this guy does, right? Check this out. So look what he says. Look what he says. Hey, African illegal immigrants. Check this out. What's going to happen to you now?
And we will immediately stop all of the pillaging and theft. Very simply, if you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot. Shot. If you rob a store, you can
I gotta record this, man. It's gotta be one of my recordings.
fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. To be shot as you are leaving that store. Expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot. That store. Shot.
That's the one right there. Man, that's funny. But now, so let's remind you guys how they handle things, right? If you don't listen, let me just remind you how they handle it here. Gringolandia, man, they just, you know what I mean? They just love it. Hey, you don't, if you don't abide by the law, remember he said, law-abiding citizens, if you're U.S. citizens and you obey by the law, then I guess you still are, right? Check it out. Man, that's fun. Hey, that's a good movie. Good morning, Vietnam. That was funny. That was funny. So now let's remind you guys. Hey, remember they're talking about, oh yeah, you know what I mean? The conspiracy theories and our forefathers wrote the Constitution. No, they wrote it for the whole purpose of supremacy. You guys are already in the so-called one world order, dummies. You just never knew that you were in the Matrix. Look, even your own brother says it.
For the international order that we have worked for generations to build. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. The order and affairs. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. To build. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. The order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
I don't know what you guys think about that, but if he's saying that at that time, imagine what he's saying, or what they're saying even now. This has all been a game, fam. Unfortunately, a serious game. All right, I'm gonna go through a quick series of pictures, and then we out of here. For you guys that stuck around, pues que bien. All right, so check it. Let me go here. I'll do it like this. All right, so first of all, look at the picture. It says here, Memoria de la Historia América y sus enigmas. Enigmas. Things that just never die out, you know? Y otras americanerias, Turcueto Luca de Tena. Watch this. In that book, it says this. Excuse me. América pertenece al mismo linaje. Fue Diana de una flecha cuyo trayectoria cruzó Israel, Egipto, I can't say it. I don't know what that is, but it says Grecia, Roma y España. Lo que España descubrió que sobre todo un camino con puertas de origen y meta de llegada. Dice, y que por ese camino navegaron Sócrates, Fidias, Euclides, Arquimedes, Cicerón, Virgilio, Dante Alighieri, el padre Vittoria, Isabel de Castillo, Shakespeare, Cervantes, Molière, Descartes, Goethe y Moisés y Cristo. América pertenece al mismo linaje. You understand what that means? Fue Diana de una flecha cuya trayectoria cruza Israel. So basically it's saying that the people here descend from those people, well, from that land there, not those people. Don't get that wrong. Do not get that twisted, family. Let's go to the next one. I go fast. Pero son ya muchos los datos que se van acumulando para confirmar la no espontaneidad de las civilizaciones americanas. Olmecas, Mayas, Incas. The brother Joe and I were talking about this, that the Aztecs, the Incas and the Mayas were the predominant law keepers, okay? Sino una filiación directa contra culturas primitivas, asirias, egipcias, hebraicas y tibetanas. So what it's basically saying is that Olmecs, Mayas, and Incas have a very similar culture as the Assyrians, Egyptians, Hebrews, and the Tibetans. They kept certain traditions that reflected each other. De todos los misterios que envuelven a esta migración, el de los mayas es acaso el más fascinante. Excuse me if I can't read that well in Spanish. Obviously, I've been reading English so much, so you know what I mean? I need to practice this again. Y el Popol Vuh y su libro sagrado, el hilo más interesante como el de Ariadna para llegar al final del oscuro laberinto. Oh, I'm sorry, laberinto. Del oscuro laberinto. Meaning the labyrinth. Like it's a, I don't want to say secret, but you know what I'm saying? It's like hard to find. Here's another book. América, Crisol de las razas del mundo. Alexander von Wootton. He has pictures of these things. So here's what I want to read. It says here, John Lloyd Stevens, personalmente, en su libro confía ampliamente en el testimonio bíblico y las profecías del Antiguo Testamento. Su distinción, sin embargo, entre los indios norteamericanos y los que él llama mexicanos o los localizados más allá del sur es correcta, así como sus deducciones sobre la importancia de la manifestación artística para la investigación de los hechos históricos. Su teoría se refiere a la descendencia de los indios norteamericanos, de los hebreos y los indios mesoamericanos. So what he's saying is that the northern indigenous brothers and sisters, the Mexicas and South Central, right, we're all showing Hebraic traditions. Now, for you guys that are like all caught up in that Indian, shit, then I can't help you. I mean, these are books in Spanish. You're just relying on some dumb shit, and I really think that a lot of you guys are just really more like either the 2/3 or just the $5 ones, man. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it no more, because there's a lot of hateful people like you. I've heard you on TikTok. It's fucking horrendous. Su teoría se refiere a la descendencia de los indios norteamericanos, de los hebreos y los indios mesoamericanos. Here on the bottom it says, Kingsborough esclareció el valioso material en la lujosa edición de Antiquities of México, publicada en enormes volúmenes, con un texto escrito en su popurrí del griego, hebreo, latín y sánscrito, entremezclado con palabras ocasionales en inglés. tomó la forma que para let me read again. Tomó la forma que para la mente de Kingsborough fue lógica, pero confuso para el lector, para cualquiera cuyo paciencia pudiera resistir estos millones de palabras. Uno podría aprender en su suma que América ha sido poblada por las tribus perdidas de Israel. So here it's again saying, like, the people that were here when we found you guys were keeping Hebraic culture. Just the way you conducted yourselves. You were religious, you were structured, you believed in the, circumcision, you celebrated, you followed the moon, you kept a Passover without you even knowing, maybe, in case you don't know. I mean, I'm not talking about the people in the past, I'm talking about the ones now. Like the so-called American Indians and shit that hate us. They claim they're not even Mexicans and shit, and then all of a sudden they show up to my channel and I remind them that they are. And then they admit it, but then they are not happy about it. You know what I mean? RSK, right? Remember that guy? El escritor Victor Wolfgang von Hagen no ha mucho público al interesante libro. No ha mucho público al interesante libro sobre John Lloyd Stevens, quien fue el primer explorador americano de la mitad del siglo, I would say 1900, que llegó a interesarse en la antigüedad de su propio continente. Von Hagen, como el antes citado Birmingham, también informó en su libro sobre la opinión prevaleciente en el siglo XVIII y universalmente aceptada en América sobre que el indio era el descendiente. Listen to this. So Van Hagen, okay, he said this universalmente aceptada de América sobre el indio era el descendiente de las tribus perdidas de Israel. Roger Williams, fundador de Rhode Island, y John Eliot, el primero que tradujo la Biblia al lenguaje indígena, lo aceptaron como hecho, al igual que William Penn, fundador de Pennsylvania. So esta gente, these people, understood, knew, and accepted and realized that you brothers are part of the Hebrews. Now the book, Cómo conquisté a los aztecas, por Hernán Cortés, con la colaboración de Armando Ayala Anguiano. You see the picture here. I can't see that, but let's read this. Naciones y hechos, pueblos donde vivían y queriéndolos llevar consigo no quisieron ir ni recibirle por Señor. Y así se volvió, y siempre hemos tenido que los que de él descendiesen, let me start again. Ración y hechos pueblos donde vivían y queriéndose llevar consigo, no quisieron ir ni recibirle por Señor. Y así se volvió. Y siempre hemos tenido que los que de él descendiesen habían de venir a sujuzgar esta tierra y a nosotros como sus vallazos. So I guess, and again, I don't know if did I miss a page? Hold on, maybe this is what it is. No, I don't think it is. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I think it starts here. My bad. No wonder we don't know. Okay, let's get it. So it's this book. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. It's this book. Take a picture. All right. Now we're going to go here. It says, muchos días a que por las escrituras de nuestros antepasados tenemos noticia que ni yo ni los que están en esta tierra habitamos somos naturales de ella, sino extranjeros, venidos de partes muy extrañas, y sabemos asimismo que a estas partes nos trajo un Señor, del que todos eran vasallos, el cual se volvió aún a su naturaleza y después de mucho tiempo volvió, tanto que ya estaban casados los que habían quedado con las mujeres naturales de la tierra y tenían mucha generación y hecho pueblos donde vivían, y queriéndose llevar consigo no quisieron ir ni recibir por el Señor. Y así se volvió, y siempre hemos tenido que los que de el descendiente habían venido a subjugar a esta. Am I reading the same? Is this part of the page? I'm sorry, family. I'm not trying to confuse, but I'm making sure that I'm reading the meaning of this page. Y según de la parte que vos dices que venís, que es por donde sale el sol. I hope it is, man. I hope it is, family. Okay, I'm just going to continue reading it. Okay. Y siempre hemos tenido que los que de él descendiesen habían venido a sojuzgar esta tierra y a nosotros como a sus vasallos. Y según de la parte que de vos dices que vienes, que es por donde sale el sol. So he's saying that, our gente came from the east. Y las cosas que decís, o dices, I could say, de ese gran rey que acaso os envió, creemos y tenemos por cierto que él es nuestro Señor natural, en especial porque vos dices que hace mucho que él tenía noticia de nosotros y por tanto vos sed cierto que es obedecernos, que os obedeceremos y tendremos por Señor en representación de esa gran Señor que vos dices. I think that this part right here, y tenemos por cierto que Él es nuestro Señor natural, en especial porque vos dices que hace mucho que Él tenía noticia de nosotros. I think he's talking about Matthew 15:24, that came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And he also said that I have another fold that I need to find, which is like not here. Again, that's what I see, but you guys can dissect that on your own. Next book, and I apologize for my horrible reading in Spanish. It's been a while. Historia del pueblo de México desde sus orígenes hasta nuestros días. Toma 1. Apparently, that's what they, that whole, what do they call that? Pangea, right? I'm showing it anyways. El Hekel, el del antiguo hebreo, significa casa grande. Hekel del acadense es palacio. Hekal o Hakal, Shakali, es náhuatl evolucionado. Es para nosotros una choza. This is good. Hold on, my bad. Watch what it says. El Hekel o HKL del antiguo hebreo significa casa grande. Hekal del acadense es palacio. Hekal o Hakal Shakai es náhuatl evolucionado. So what he's saying is that Hakal o Hekal is the same thing here, just after some time. Changed and maybe written different. Es para nosotros una choza. Y los especialistas en la materia creen que la voz Teocayi es la corrupción de Tashkal. Estas comparaciones semíticas con las llamadas americanas que interesaron profundamente a Catalina II, que les atribuyó a analogías propias al género humano. Se volvió, let me see if I get the page, sobre piedras, señalaban del uso de animales domésticos en los pueblos de Asia, desde pretéritas edades no se conservaba lo mismo en los monumentos y nuestros continentes. Let's continue. Aquí lo que se ve a través de ese género documental son los elementos de la indumentaria. El gorro cónico en Egipto, el gorro cónico en la mayalogía, la sandalia en ambos pueblos, La sandalia en ambos pueblos. So, see, this is interesting. So, sandalia is, your chanclas, right? Sandals. Remember, I told you guys that I don't have to go to Deuteronomy 28 to prove who we are. Like, who else wears sandals, family, and makes them that way? The same way that they use them in those times. Like, who else does that? No other nation in no other world does that shit. And you guys can't take that from our people at all. Las sandalias en América, en ambos pueblos. So it's like the similarity between here and there. Preséntase a sí mismo, dice abajo, la costumbre incuestionablemente originada en la alta antigüedad de grabar signos sobre los hombros, espaldas y piernas de figuras humanas labradas en piedra, y tal estatigrafía ya entre los semitas, ya entre los pre-mexicanos. So when people try to tell you you're anti-Semitic, fuck you. I am Semitic, bitch. La idea de por un parentesco del hebreo y acadáneo con los idiomas primitivos del continente apellidado americano. En más de una vez traspasa los límites de la ciencia y si en ocasión penetra el reino de la fantasía, no por ello deja de ser interesante. La voz kukulkumkus o kulkumkuskur se representan en las lenguas babilónicas, ku o kutu en las inscripciones asirias. Posiblemente correspondieron a una tribu nómada en las márgenes del Dijala en la nación Ker. Okay? Next book. Alfonso Toro, Historia de México. Las fuentes de información, page 150. Las fuentes de información en cuanto a la mitología del pueblo de Tusayan se refiere son las siguientes. La primera y más importante son cuentos y leyendas de las aventuras de divinidades y semidioses, héroes divinizados y personajes sobrenaturales. Right? Let's continue. Con frecuencia se afirma y mantiene con gran erudición al haber descubierto afinidades entre las razas americanas y las del antiguo continente. Una teoría muy general era antes la que veía en los indios y las tribus perdidas de Israel. Let's continue. Lord Kingborough, excéntrico inglés de la época de la regencia, estaba convencido de que los antiguos habitantes de México y América Media eran descendientes de las tribus perdidas de Israel y consagró el total de su fortuna a probar que estaba en lo cierto. Sus Antiquities of Mexico, because that's the book he wrote, obra en 9 enormes volúmenes, cada uno de los cuales es tan pesado que una bibliotecaría no muy robusta no lo cargó fácilmente. Aparecieron entre 1830 y 1848. Basically, his book showed up between those years. Esos libros contenían reproducciones de códices y esculturas indígenas y de relatos raros y inéditos, ahora sea completos, ahora en extractos, juntamente con la interpretación del propio Lord Kingsborough que él consideraba probatorias de sus tesis. Grandeza y decadencia de los mayas. So you see this here? Los pueblos considerados por diferentes escritores como las 10 tribus perdidas. South, here. See? Here. All over. Breve historia de los indios norteamericanos. Atlas de la historia judía. Sea como fuera, el poblamiento humano de América es una cuestión arduamente discutida por los científicos modernos, pero también lo fue por los antiguos. Desde 1492 intentaron buscar explicaciones para el origen de esos seres con los que los europeos blancos se iban encontrando en sus exploraciones por América. Las primeras tesis fueron, como no, de índole religiosa. Los pobladores de América eran ni más ni menos que los descendientes de las bíblicas tribus perdidas de Israel. And it was because of the stuff that we did. El dibujo de la migración de los aztecas formó parte antiguamente de las famosas colecciones del Dr. Sigüenza. We know that they took a lot of stuff from him, que había recibido en herencia las pinturas jeroglíficas de un indio noble, Juan de Alba Ixtlilxochtli, I think. Esta colección, como lo afirma el abete clavijero, fue conservada hasta 1759 en el Colegio de los Jesuitas en México. See that? Jesuits. Se ignora lo que le haya sucedido después de la disolución de la orden. En vano he ejeado las pinturas aztecas conservadas en las bibliotecas de la universidad. No pude encontrar el original de los dibujos que se presenta en la lámina del, I guess, I don't know, what, lámina something, lámina, I'm assuming 32. Pero en México existen varias copias antiguas que ciertamente no fueron hechas del grabado de Gemilli Carreri. Si se comparan los jeroglíficos contenidos en el manuscrito de Roma, y Belletrí y en las colecciones de Mendoza y Gama, con todo aquello que la pintura de las migraciones ofrece de simbólica y cronológica, no se podrá ciertamente dar a la hipótesis según el cual el dibujo de Gemille es la ficción de algún monje español que ha intentado probar por medio de monumentos apócrifos que las tradiciones de los hebreos se vuelven a encontrar en los pueblos indígenas de América. Out of all the shit that I just read, this is what actually made sense to me. Apologize, fam. I don't practice reading Spanish much. Here's another one. Vistas de las cordilleras y monumentos de los pueblos indígenas de América. Mitos y tópicos de la historia de España y América. Esoterismo en el Popol Vuh. Llegado a las Indias para realizar los designios impenetrables de Dios, o que narran con demasiada complacencia ciertas creencias. Give me a second. Complacía ciertas creencias, ciertas hipótesis, según las cuales los indios serían descendientes de las tribus perdidas de Israel. Aquí dice que Lafayette relaciona el edicto de 1577 que prohíbe imprimir todo lo que tenga que ver con esas creencias y supersticiones con el proclamado 20 años antes contra los escritos relativos a las ceremonias judíacas y concluye. So now, this is like years later after Sumarraga said you cannot print anything about our people. Right? He was burning everything. So now this is about 40 years after. It says 20 here, but it's actually 40. It says, el paralelismo es sorprendente y se explica fácilmente pues que los indios y los judíos parecían estar confabulados e incluso pertenecen a un mismo linaje. Hasta entonces los estudios relativos y las costumbres y creencias de los indios antes de su evangelización habían sido considerados como los recursos auxiliares más necesarios para la extirpación de los restos de la idolatría. La nueva política imponía, al contrario, un manto de silencio sobre las creencias politeístas, en la medida que hasta apoyándose en el judaísmo podían dar lugar a nuevas herejías, soportes virtuales de un separatismo político siempre amenazador. Knowing who we are is very threatening for the people, for these other nations. Popol Vuh, antiguas historias del Quiche. Here's from another book that I have, and you can see the pictures of our people, and we weren't Afro puff. And you see this lighter skin tone, little reddish tone, little light skin tone, like darker skin tone. We had all that. You know what I'm saying? But people want to go ahead and try to make some fucking funky ass channels and YouTube and TikTok bullshit and try to claim that like they're originally the people here. Like, look. You can see. Even then. Come on, man. You guys ignore those pictures. You bring the books out that actually show these pictures, that actually have these pictures. Look at that. Who's that Negro right there? Who is that right there? A ver, cabrones. The day of playing games is over. That's all I got, family. I hope it was edifying. Thank you for being here. Please share and like. It's not for my sake. Oh, no, you know what? Hold on a second. Nah, actually, I don't want to do it. Nah, I don't want to do it. Nah, you know what? Maybe I should. What time is it? 5:30. Okay, all right. Check this out. All right, so I'm going to do it, fam. All right, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm going to play this video for y'all. Okay. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to do this first. Hold on a second.
You have IT needs?
I'm about. All right. So, you know that I came, for you guys that don't realize this, that I came to this understanding a lot, like back in 2016 through 2018 is when I started like kind of doing the awakening. Okay. Blah blah blah. Y'all know my channel. Blah blah blah. I did my DNA a year and a half ago. I'm showing this again because, you know, a lot of people want to like talk shit. So, you know, I already showed it, so I'm going to stand ground by it. You know what I mean? So, spiritually speaking, I'm a Hebrew. And scientifically speaking, I'm a Hebrew. So, if you don't believe in the Bible, then I can show you by DNA. And if you don't believe in the DNA, I think I've showed it through the Bible. So, before we go here, because, you know, like Jewish Americans disappointed, DNA proves they're not Jews. They're confessing. Okay, good. I'm glad. But you guys that are also claiming to be, you guys are not. So I am showing our people, my gente, right? That's an old email I have anyway, so it don't matter. I'm showing my people, my gente, you know, my beloved. I didn't come alone. I damn well did not come alone. Come on, bro. What the hell? Okay, I didn't come alone. So it says here that I am 91% of the Americas, 64% Mexican, 14% Peruvian, Colombian, pure indigenous, whatever that means. European, yeah, very low, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. And then South Asia, okay, Sri Lanka. All right, so that's what it says. That's the most recent. Now, if you go to the advanced, now remember, keep in mind that this is CRI genetics. I think this is probably one of the better ones, to be quite frank with you, because they actually do prove their point on a lot of things. So, anyways, Regardless of what you see the mixture here, we're 91% of the indigenous lands. All right, so now I'm going to show you the advanced one. This is important because now, still, even to this day, it shows I'm 92% indigenous, Peruvian mostly, then Mexican, then Colombian. Now, you see this genotype representing these areas, but I'm mostly tribal speaking Inca, Aymara, and Quechua. I did a class on the Quechua language, which has a lot of similarity to Hebrew. Okay, so now let me go back. Still, the point here, when I see European, fine, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Okay, East Asian, nothing. South Asian, nothing. African, you guys decide. Okay, now it says here that I'm indigenous, not white, not African. Okay, so now let's go to this here. Now this is the one that we just looked at is the advanced one, meaning like, you know, like what my true bloodline is here, based. But now they have trait tracers. So here's me, my street name, and here's my heritage, 1870. Okay, it's gonna go back and connect me to a lot of different DNA samples. So let's continue, go all the way down. Okay, all the way down. Okay, so now, you know, when you start seeing stuff, you say Peruvian, Mexican, Peruvian, Peruvian at the end, but Peruvian, Mexican, like, right? 1620 AD, 1595 AD. The reason I skip so much is because like it goes to that point and then it skips. I'll show you. 1470 AD. So I'm still here prior to these Europeans getting here. 1445 AD, 245 AD as a so-called Peruvian. So they've been tracing my lineage here for some time, and it's more than 2,000 years, or about 2,000 years old. They can go back 2,000 years, and they're like, your DNA analysis reveals one of your ancestors was Peruvian from the year 275 AD. How do we know? Your DNA contains a segment of whatever number that is, SMPs on the chromosome 6 located in 1277 that matches the people group PEL. We determined this result to have 99% match score. All right, now, let me show you this real quick. This is your paternal haplogroup, meaning that this is where your bloodline of your seed comes from. Now, a lot of people want to jump on this shit real quick, but they don't realize that, yes, but it branched out. So prior to you having this and have something else, you were me. That's really the fact. So now I'm going to show you so you can see that I'm not no anti-Semitic because I'm a Semitic man. I have Semitic blood running through me. So fuck your anti-Semitism bullshit. They don't work here in this channel. Okay? And for all you silly doves that are trying to claim to be Hebrews and you can't prove it, you can't prove with the Bible, then do your DNA. That's where my family's from. My dad. My dad's 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 dad. So I just showed you a trace. And it says here that the people that were here, they were considered the 12 tribes of Israel because of their traditions and heritage. And I just showed you that my advanced analysis and trait tracer says that I've been here for more than 2,000 years, or at least 2,000 years. That's as far as I can go back. But even then, my paternal, meaning like my dad, he came from here. And what is this? We're talking about the path of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's what it means. So now let's enjoy this before I gotta go. Let's go. This is funny, man. That's why I had to show my DNA, because guess what? You beautiful people of mine that are listening to this channel and you resonate with my message, dude, then most likely you got the same bloodline that I have. And I am so thankful that you do, because you know what? I have lovely kids, man. My kids are wonderful. I really love my kids. They're fucking great ass kids, dude. I cannot complain about my kids. Honestly, man, they're wonderful kids, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The Bible says that don't be a lion and fuck up your home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't be a roaring lion and making everything all chaotic. I had to learn to like not do that because I have a good home. I have good kids. I have a good wife. I ain't gonna lie. Like it says in the scriptures, God, what's the scripture? A well-instructed woman, right? The reason that happens is because she had a well-instructed home. Her dad was, he had his errors, but he really did his best to protect his daughter. So I thank him for creating a beautiful woman. That's why I say when you guys judge an individual, judge his house first. I'm telling you right now, look at his surroundings, look at how he deals with things, look at his, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to go beyond a lot of things.
I want to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now, you may ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua.
Who is we? No, really, who is we? You live in Israel, so I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect with Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud? But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. And yet Israel still claims it's my homeland, which I could move to and become a citizen of under the ironically named Law of Return.
Grand rising kings and queens, welcome back to my YouTube space. All of you across the ocean and in Africa, peace.
We need your help to save the masjid where over 100 Americans have accepted Islam. This is your brother Yusha Evans with an urgent appeal. Masjid Isa ibn Maryam in New York City is an amazing masjid, but the masjid building is currently in crisis. The windows are broken, the prayer carpets are ripped, and they have leaks and damages to the facility. We desperately need your support to save this house of Allah. Your donation will help install new prayer carpets, new wudu areas, a new roof, and help many reverts in need. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever relieves the believer of a hardship in this world, Allah will relieve their hardship on the day of judgment." If this is the case for helping just one person, then imagine the rewards of saving the house of Allah that serves 2,000 people every single week. Click and donate now, whatever you can, and may Allah reward you. Assalamu alaikum.
This game, you're not ready for it.
Love and elevation to all of you. Now, today I'm stepping into one of the deepest, most controversial and long hidden truths of all time. Continue. I want you to watch these clips and then we come back with Mike Montani.
You heard of the Kuzalim?
Yeah, that's us. That's MESHIACHA.
Okay, so what is your, this is a question that comes from outside of Israel. What is your opinion about the theory that Ashkenazim came from Kuzalim?
It seems relevant. It's quite obvious that white Jewish people, Ashkenazim from Europe, are not genetically, as much as I can tell, I'm not an expert, but they don't look the same like Arab Jews, people that came from Arab countries, and Ethiopians. I don't think there's a lot of, there may be some genetic relations, but there's a lot of genetic differences. And any theory that says that we're not genetically come from the same ancestors makes sense to me.
Ashkenaz is one of the Gentile nations. Now, 80 to 85% of today's so-called Jewry, those who claim to be Jews in the world today, 80 to 85% of them are what is known as Ashkenazi Jews. And an Ashkenazi Jew is so named because he primarily descends from this guy in the Bible named Ashkenaz, which is clearly listed as one of the Gentile nations. Now, the reason for this is that there was a nation of people who were Europeans, white people, known as the Khazars. And in the 8th century after Christ, the whole nation of the Khazars turned unto Judaism. They converted to the religion of Judaism. Of course, it was a false, Christ-rejecting religion. And for a few hundred years, the empire of the Khazars was a power in Eastern Europe, and they followed the religion of Judaism. But eventually they were defeated by the Russians, and they were scattered into Eastern Europe. And so a lot of the Eastern European Jews today are the descendants of the Khazars.
And so a lot of the Eastern European Jews today are the descendants of the Khazars.
I was today years old when I found out.
Ashkenaz, the eldest of the 3 sons of Gomer, the son of Japhet, and the name of a kingdom, referencing these same verses. Most likely it was the Scythian kingdom. And then after a few hundred years, they're lost from history. So they have zero to do with Israel, zero to do with Jewish people, zero to do with Ashkenazi Jews today. Zero. You say, well, where did the name Ashkenazi came from? So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now immigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false, zero truth to it. Just study the history, look into it, check the Bible dictionaries, encyclopedias, the archaeological works. You'll find the exact same thing.
Key takeaway points and food for thought. 1. The original Jews are defined as those from the line of Judah. Judah was the 4th son of Jacob. 2. Ashkenaz was the 1st son of Gomer and is from the line of Japheth and not Shem. 3. They labeled themselves as Ashkenaz but claimed to be from the line of Shem. If they knew their history, would this error have been made? 4. The term Ashkenazi Jew is historically incorrect, as previously mentioned Ashkenaz and Judah are from separate lineages. 5. They self-identified as Ashkenazi and were not labeled as such. Due to the confusion in establishing their true lineage, one could suggest this has been a ploy to hijack the identity of an already established people. 6. It's claimed that the Ashkenazi people have been lost to history. But are people ever lost to history, or are they invaded, conquered, and assimilated?
I'm a Palestinian. From 21 until 48, I carried a Palestinian passport. There was no such thing in this area as Jews and Arabs and Palestinians. There were Jews and Arabs.
Don't you, I mean, you deny that there was a Palestine Arab people before, but there is now a Palestine liberation movement. The history of liberation movements are that they grow. Won't this one grow? And become in end, in fact, your biggest enemy?
I don't say there are no Palestinians, but I say there is no such thing as a distinct Palestinian people of all the Palestinians who live in Jordan. Why have the Palestinians in the West Bank become more Palestinians since the 5th of June 67 than they were before? Why didn't they set up a Palestinian country in addition to Jordan? Supposing your premise is right, then what should they have done? They should have set up another independent Palestine and fought from there. They didn't do that. They adopted the fact that they are in Jordan. They've adopted the Jordanian citizens. They are the majority in Jordan. They are in parliament. They are in government. What has happened since? Why have they become more Palestinian conscious since the War of 67?
This feels like Christmas morning. I got a 23andMe ancestry and health kit. I think that I kind of want to start with the ancestry side. And it says ancestry composition. I'm 49.9% Ashkenazi Jewish. That's not a huge surprise to me at all, since my mom's side of the family is completely Jewish. My dad's side is not Jewish though. So let's go to there, let's see what's going on. This is like, I feel really like on the spot. Okay, so I'm 100% European, which again is not a huge surprise to me, but it's just funny seeing it like that. I'm 49% Ashkenazi Jew, totally. British and Irish and German and French, a little bit Scandinavian, Northeastern European. Yeah, it's not super exciting, but I kind of know all of that information. I didn't realize how much my family was from Germany though, so that's interesting. So let's see if I can get more information on this. It's funny, like I know where like my relatives and stuff came from, but it's kind of fun to see it broken down like this. Yeah, totally not surprising having the British and Irish be pretty strong. The German is though, so I wonder who came from Germany. I wonder if it has to do with the Ashkenazi Jewish part of my family. No really Scandinavian, no Italian. Wow, okay. It's pretty vague. It doesn't give you like, which makes sense, but there's nothing really random in there. There's a tiny bit of East Asian and Native American, like the slightest. The first thing that they're telling me to do is do the late onset Alzheimer's disease. I do have some dementia in my family, so I wouldn't be super surprised that this was positive, but my heart's racing a little bit, I don't know. So I don't have the, whatever, however you say that, so there's zero variants detected, which is, I guess, a positive thing. Cool, so Parkinson's disease. let's open that guy up. I know that's like a very, so I have 0 variants detected. So age-related macular degeneration, a variant detected, not likely at increased risk. I'm not totally sure what that totally means, but AMD, we're familiar with that condition, but we'll see. I'll do more research on this. Have a slightly increased risk of celiac disease, which I've actually been tested by, like, I've gotten blood work and stuff done for celiac disease, and I definitely gluten is harder for me to digest, but yeah. Interesting.
Let's unravel the mysteries behind Ashkenazi genetics. Ashkenazi Jews are a Jewish diaspora population who formed in the Holy Roman Empire around 1,000 years ago. The total Ashkenazi population is estimated at 10 million people. Today, they live mostly in the United States as well as in Israel, where they represent over a third of the Jewish population. They are descended from Levantine Jews who mixed with native Europeans, mostly from southern, but also from Eastern Europe. The combination of European and Levantine admixture makes Ashkenazi Jews genetically close to Southern Italians, Sicilians, Greek Islanders, or Maltese people. Using ancestral populations, Ashkenazi Jews can be modeled as being roughly 49% Anatolian Neolithic farmer, 24% steppe, 13% Natufian, and 9% Iranian Neolithic, with minor Caucasian, North African, and East Eurasian contributions. Get your custom DNA report today at world-genetics.com.
The results are in, y'all. And good news, I'm not from the Walmart discount section. First up, we are 50% Jewish. Woo! Yes, I did have a bat mitzvah. Next, we got 26% Indigenous Americas, aka Mexico, aka Aztec warrior. Then we got 14% coming from Spain. Shout out to all those conquistadors. And 3% Basque. Interesting. This is like the full little map thing they give you. And then I also get to see people I'm related to that I've never even heard about before. Kind of crazy, kind of cool, kind of scary.
So you know how in Israel there's a law that bans Israeli Jews from marrying Arabs, Palestinians, Muslims? And they say that this is based on the morale of their holy book, right? But I'm about to show you how this just goes to show that these people don't know the book. And really this law, like about everything else in their regime, is based in white supremacy, racism, and ultimately mid-20th century eugenics. Because the thing is that the most famous and beloved of the Israelites and the Israelite kings, they weren't purebloods. Solomon's mother was a Canaanite. David's grandmother was also a Canaanite, a Moabite to be specific. And a Moabite so famous, she got a whole book in the Bible named after.
You see how stupid that sounds? She was a Moabite Canaanite? Like, please. See, a lot of people can claim to know what they're talking about. Even they don't know what they're talking about. Anyways, fam, that's all I got. Let me play a little real quick, and then I'm going to finish off with some songs, all right? Because it's getting late, at least for me, and I've been on for a while. I got to get ready for tomorrow. Time to work. Anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here, Brother Joe. I will be revealed. Metzli, good to have you. La Meshi. Estudiante, what's up, brother? Who else did I miss? Oh, that's right. Enemies, buenos dias. Anybody else I forgot about? My bad. You guys have a good night. I hope you can appreciate what I brought out. I think it's important for us to look at history and kind of see, like, damn, man, shit doesn't change. So what are we supposed to do? You guys follow this channel, you should know, but I think when it comes to our people, we kind of have to like kind of walk with you slowly. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Well, if I tell you bluntly, you won't accept it. So let me just walk with you a little bit. You know what I mean? Let me just walk with you a little bit and explain to you exactly what you need to do as we're walking. Because if I tell you bluntly, you'll stop listening. That's kind of the thing with our people. You know what I'm saying? So walk with me so you don't have to hear it bluntly. Let me play some songs real quick and then we out. We out. A few and then that's it. Y'all have a good night. Saludos, shalom, good night, good evening, and good morning.
Yeah, man. This is 4 Elements. All right. The gangsters of the sun, motherfuckers. Cypher, volumen 1. He sentido miedo por verme desolado. He tocado el cielo por teneros a mi lado. He dicho te quiero a quien me ha traicionado. Pero nunca he sido malo, eso lo tengo bien demostrado. Muévelo, bailalo, el sonido tómalo. Cántalo y con tus amigas gózalo. Body, 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 así que apréndelo. Estamos envueltos en llamas, DJ, gózalo. Hey, nigga, Acoba track in a mira bomba, but don't stop it, reggae it up, a nigga coming to the top. All of them, fire burn them for the club. Keone in the area is the only general. Track over track in a mira bomba, but don't stop it, reggae it up, a nigga coming to the top. All of them, fire burn them for the club. 4 Element is the only general. No
no pueden competir contra esta fiera. Tan distraído me vi mordiendo las barreras. Sufre menos quien nada espera. Aprendí mirándome, empecé a buscar ahí fuera. Analízame, no soy cualquiera. Guardo mis demonios, lloraría si los vieras. Pero los tengo bajo llave. Quizá conversemos durante la noche, ellos tengan la clave para escapar de mí mismo cuando no puedo salir y me precipito al abismo del fatalismo. Todo se torna tan negro que cuando veo la luz resulta ser solo otro espejismo. Fui noqueado, caí como un titán dormido, al fin me he levantado y todo es caos. He estado distraído, persiguiendo sueños que eran vaho, arena, olvido.
Ey, no quiero dolor, tampoco su ley o su opresión. Yo quiero un skate, decirle adiós, jamás su sistema no favoreció. Grité Mayday, nadie me ayudó, ni la policía, ni el rey, ni su Dios. Yo quiero saber dónde se quedó aquel pueblo libre y su revolución. Llegó tu condena, te moverás y romperás los problemas, no es novedad que no verás otra forma de olvidar las penas que queman tu órbita vibracional. No quiero ser normal, tampoco singular, no hay norma que transforme mi moral. Logré quitarme los prejuicios, admito que estoy completamente enamorado de todo género musical.
Con represión la condición es infrahumana, la religión paga con prisión al que nada trama. Piensa en fama, frustrado tumbado en tu cama. Te mojarás si llueves y no te mueves con ganas. Romper ramas por envidia, tu mamá no te deja plantar. Y en guerras en Siria y tú quejándote por no afrontar problemas de mierda o niñatos de mierda que viven en su burbuja, la cual nunca va a explotar. Nadie tiene una mentira y en ella tu vida va a acabar. No ves la verdad, en la tele no la vas a encontrar. Tus padres te mienten porque ellos también creyeron que todo es normal en el mundo que construyeron.
No me queda nada de ese ruido del sistema. Vengo con mi pana construyendo una epopeya. Como Popeye, marihuana, comida y cena. Las bajas vibraciones, mi luz le quema again. Venimos armados de fe y no nos dejamos arrastrar por la corriente. Hacemos todo al revés. Y si hoy no sientes, porque de dentro afuera, que estamos creando despacito la tortuga, ganó a la liebre. 4 elementos fusionados con el éter, conectando realidades de la calle, volando a tu mente, despertando al ser consciente. Es tu enfoque lo cante, liberando tensiones y abrazando lo que sientes.
Oh yeah,
Bomba clave, 4 elementos. Despertando al ser consciente, liberando tensión, abrazando.
me cago en tus muertos.
Hey, più nigga on a microphone, studio of your own, gangsta song, Marina Komova. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is slower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Marina Komova. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is slower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Escucha a Dios si aún estás por este mundo. Voy a robarte tan solo 3 segundos. Quiero mandarte un mensaje muy profundo y pedirte disculpas por si me confundo. Soy un humano más que vaga estos páramos, que se pregunta qué pasa si nos amáramos. Pero la guerra nos separa, así que páranos y únenos de nuevo, por favor, como quisiéramos. Ve al humano maltratar a su mujer, divisa al pueblo roto por su falta de poder. Sigo viendo al niño muriendo sin comer y al rico atragantarse tan solo por placer. Le damos pocos mensajeros del honor, fieles servidores del humano con valor, nobles narradores de palabra con amor. Solo faltas tú para guiar nuestro interior. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Claim the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Claim the tower, feel the warrior eternal power.
Sé que no es fácil nadar en estas aguas, ni mantener el rumbo en este sin razón. Sé que me quemo si camino en la fragua. Este es mi deber cuando recibí mi don. Podría hablar sobre coches y dinero, pero no quiero, por eso soy la voz del guero. Prefiero mantener mi arte mensajero, luchar junto al humilde para destruir el clero. Unos tienen tanto y otros quieren tan poco. Esta melodía me está volviendo loco. Pido a Kion que limpie lo que toco. Él destruye el muro en el que normalmente choco. La tierra muere y morirá callada. Creas tu suelo de arena malgastada. Nos diste ciencia y eso no te avala. Ella da respuestas, tú no dices nada. Sé que mi fe no va mal, pero aquí debajo todo sigue igual. Luchamos por vivir algo que es normal. Por eso lo divino jamás será mortal. Oh, my nigga, feel the rasta, pure nigga, no más nigga. Hey, escuela, haciendo fresco lo que siento desde el alma. Nego, lo siento. Lo sé, señor, quizás hable sin sentido, pero al malvado hay que darle su merecido. Mira al diablo en que me ha convertido, pidiéndole consejos a un desconocido. Mamera como va, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Clean the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Mamera como va, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Clean the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Represent, I know where you see the from president. Oh, gangsta shit, gangsta style, gangsta pure nigga, Kion in Selassie. I represent, soul, yes. My brother come over. It's a champion general flower. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Claim the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over. It's a champion general flower. Listen, my reggae music is lower.
Oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo Calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá. Esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerde. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura, somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica, Gambino mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes, si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes, si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Cuerpo queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Búscala. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que el dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí ilumina camino. Lucha como nosotros antes pena grande. Yo soy tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.